If you've ever said, let's go on this, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, where we wrap up a rather exciting week. It's Friday. It's going to be a fun Friday. We've got Mark Petrino today, got a little bit of news flow. We got market rolling over just a touch here in the pre-market, although it's still green. Got a lot of stuff going on. It's going to be a fun, freaky Friday. We're going to get it done. We're going to make some money here. Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, the October 3rd edition for Friday, begins right now. Good morning and welcome back, everybody. I hope that you had a wonderful Thursday. Man, I know I did. Cubbies and the Tigers advance. Plus, I hit my parlay on the Rams 49ers game last night. Andis went ham. Man, oh man. It was a good Thursday. And now, perhaps the best part is we made it to Friday. And it is great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here on a Friday. Today, Sean is going to be first. Andis Daddy, I bow. Rise, my friend. No need to bow. That's what we do here. We will absolutely share the wealth. I'll tell you what, it's obviously, this trade has obviously been great for me. But there's an added sense of satisfaction seeing how many other people are making money off of this. This has got to be, I think, of my entire life of, talking about stocks with other people, giving out tips. This has got to be the best one. A long time ago, back when I first started, I told my mom to buy some Apple. I said, Mom, buy some Apple and put this away. Don't touch it. Don't sell it. Trust me, you'll make money off of this. She did that. Apple split twice since that period. And she's up six figures on that. Someone who's never really extremely wealthy and never really had money or a lot of it, and didn't necessarily have a great impression of the stock market. We were able to totally change that with that Apple trade, which gave me great pride. But this Andis trade here, seeing the amount of people that are able to make some money off of this, it means a real lot. It means an awful lot. So, Sean, I'm happy for you and everyone else who's making their life better from this. We're going to keep trying to find the goods, and we're going to keep making them here. Good morning, Sean. Welcome back. Solitary Soldier, good morning. Francis, good morning. Peter, good morning. Corey, good morning. Big Dave, good morning. Cubs win. Cubs win. Fly the W, baby. Fly the W. Tomorrow they start against the Brewers. That should be spicy. Austin, good morning. It's good to see you again. EKS, good morning. EKS says prediction markets see the shutdown stretching past 10 days. Okay, so that's 2 days longer than average. Prediction markets, we'll see if they're correct. No data today because of that shutdown. Dara, good morning. Crimp Biscuit, good morning. Kelly, good morning. Candace, good morning. Durkis, good morning. Producer, he's ready for coffee, donuts, and a Red Dog style sandwich, apparently. He's making my mouth water over here. Barely 7 o'clock where I'm at. Brandy, good morning. It's good to see you again. Seahorse Trading, welcome back. Big Bees, welcome back. How about that game last night, Big Bees? Crimp Biscuit, welcome back. Yes, that girl, welcome back. Neville, welcome back. Bernhard, welcome back. Dropper Test, welcome back. Day Trader, locked in, welcome back. Buffalo by Bicycle, welcome back. Hans Yolo, welcome back. Chuck, welcome back. Supri, it's good to see you. Yeah, producer just trolling folks here. We don't know if 13 will make the show because of the new Taylor Swift album. We'll see if he shows up. Guess you learn something about your co-host every day. Hockey player, good morning. Rooney, good morning. Jay Grant, good morning. Jay Smith, good morning. Bogey's Adventure, good morning. Facundo, good morning. Big Bear Hug, I think I already said good morning, but good morning again. Fact Checker, good morning. Dennis, good morning. Bobby, good morning. Kevin, good morning. Hector, and just passing through, good morning. Ezrar, good morning. T-Mengate, or what does that say? T-Men's GST. I'm going to call you T-Men. Good morning. Ness, congrats on your parlay. I wouldn't even show up for work if I hit one. So real quick, just some context about my betting. Betting to me is something that is just for fun. The money being attached to it is part of the excitement. But just to be clear, I look at betting as a system very much like I do trading. And for the most part, most of these parlays, which are high risk bets, I bet in what I call a 1 unit. 1 unit is $10. Okay. So last night, my parlay was $10 to win $135. Now that's a 13x. So that's not bad. But just know that when I'm betting, we're not talking about wealth money. We're talking about fun money. The wealth money comes from the stock market, where I feel like I have more of an advantage than sports betting. And I've heeded the warnings about sports betting that you really can't get too deep into that. So I normally stick to 1 to 2 unit bets for parlays, maybe 1.5 units, depending on what's going on. So it's never going to be something where I don't show up for work because I'm retiring. Just saying. Brian, good morning. Billy, good morning. Cat Ligo, what's the plan for NFP? We're not getting a data print today, so party on, Wayne. That's the plan. We're gonna have a great time. Chart, good morning. Chart Hustle, which I just love. Good morning, Kenneth. Good morning. Angelito, good morning. Kim, good morning. Piero, good morning. And then Harvey, good morning. All right, folks, let's get started with the stock market today. All right, S&P oops, I didn't put the screen up. Let me do that. All right, S&P futures green across the board here this morning. They're actually down a little bit from their pre-market highs, but still holding on to green. S&P 5, oops, that's gold. Ooh, I messed that up. Gold, by the way, gold futures up 0.48%, but S&P futures up 0.13%, Dow futures up 0.17%, and the NASDAQ up 0.14%. So we are technically slightly in the green, but we are very, very close to flat. So let's see what happens when the market opens here today. Let's also take a look at some cues from last session here. Sectors with the biggest losses on Thursday included energy, consumer discretionary, and real estate, with most of the S&P 500 closing in the red. However, materials and information technology stocks bucked the trend, helping U.S. stocks settle higher as the S&P 500 hit a new record, with investors shrugging off the government shutdown concerns. Pushing its market capitalization to a record $4.6 trillion, NVIDIA, ticker NVDA, rose around 1%, extending its winning streak to a 6th consecutive session. Advanced Micro Devices, ticker AMD, surged 3.5% after Semaphore reports suggesting Intel may add AMD as a foundry customer. Intel shares also advanced 2.2%, on track for their highest close since April of 2024. Now, as mentioned, Wall Street was unfazed by the shutdown as the AI-led optimism led the markets higher, even as most S&P sectors declined on Thursday. Information technology and communication services did advance. The next opportunity to hold a vote on the government shutdown will be later today, as the chamber was out on Thursday in observance of Yom Kippur. Meanwhile, President Trump once again floated the idea of issuing rebate checks to Americans funded by the hundreds of billions of dollars in tariff revenue imposed by his administration. When asked about what he intends to do with all the money, Trump said that his priority is paying down the nation's massive debt. But he added that, quote, "We also might make a distribution to the people," end quote, describing the plan as, quote, "a dividend to the people of America," end quote. The 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.09%, and the 2-year bond was at 3.55%. All right, now, before we go into some insights here, we are going to take a look at the SPY chart, as we always do. Here we go. SPY sitting at 669.22. We did have a pre-market high of 671.48, but as mentioned earlier, we backed off that a little bit. The good news here is that we're staying above the recent all-time high that we broke out from. That value was 667.34. We've done a pretty good job staying above that. We are kind of inside yesterday's candle, at least so far. We'll see if we break out of the bottom of that or if we break out of the top of that. If we take a look inside, just to give you an idea of where that bottom is, pretty much that 667.34. I know we actually punched a little bit beneath that 666.76 for all you superstitious people out there. But this is kind of what we're watching here to the downside. Do we give up that previous level that we broke out from? If we do, that puts 659.82. You want to call that 660? That would work for me as well. That's going to be our 20-day moving average, which has done a great job of establishing and showing the trend that we have here in the SPY. So this is pretty much the key levels that we're taking a look at here today. Let's listen to some insights from some analysts here. According to Urian Timmer, Director of Global Macro at Fidelity Investments, the current AI-driven market boom bears, quote, juicy resemblances to the exuberant run-up of the late 1990s dot-com era. Really quickly here, I'm seeing more and more of this. We're having these discussions in the happy hour at the end of the day. Folks that have been market veterans for longer than myself and in multiple decades, frankly, they're starting to say some of the same things. We're seeing articles say the same things. So I understand it. I would still say that our best bet as traders here is to play the hand in front of us. Always be prepared for multiple outcomes. But just anecdotally seeing some more of this here. Timmer, in an X post, warned investors to be prepared for a 1999-style market melt up, drawing direct parallels between today's market dynamics and the period leading up to the 2000 tech bust. Timmer's analysis highlights how AI boom's trajectory closely mirrors the 1994 to 2000 soft landing bull market, particularly noting that the past 6 months, April to October of this year, resemble the post-LTCM long-term capital management melt-up of 1998 to 2000. He points out that the earlier boom was supported by 3 rate cuts from then Fed Chair Alan Greenspan, implying a potentially similar scenario for current and future monetary policy. For anyone that wants to follow Urian Timmer or go through the tweets and the threads with all of the graphs that he provides, does a really good job with some of these informative graphics. Your link to this story and the subsequent tweets is in the chat there. Meanwhile, Louis Navellier of Navellier and Associates said that, quote, market momentum appears unstoppable, end quote. And indeed, in our observations, it certainly does feel like that. He goes on to say, retail investors keep adding. Foreign investors keep adding. We're not alone. Several other countries are seeing new highs as well. The global index is also at a record level, as is the global index XIII. The bias to equity versus debt has never been higher. Corporate share buybacks have never been higher, he added. However, a stark divergence has emerged between professional and retail investors as new Bank of America data shows, quote, Wall Street is selling to Main Street again, end quote. U.S. equities saw a net outflow of $4.7 billion last week, overwhelmingly driven by institutional players cashing out. Institutional investors led the change, dumping $3.6 billion in stocks, their largest weekly sell-off since June. Hedge funds followed suit, offloading $1.3 billion, marking their 3rd consecutive week of net selling. This exodus from the so-called, quote, smart money, end quote, contributed to one of the largest 2-week outflows from single stocks since 2008, signaling a significant move to de-risk portfolios. So I guess just on that, maybe, producer, we can put together a poll question for the group or something like that. Given the melt up that we have seen, and I think it's totally fine to call this a melt up. I think that's accurate. It does feel like that, especially when we trade up on low volume, to be quite honest with you. I guess one of the things we'd be looking at is who else is de-risking their portfolio. And I guess on a little bit more than that, are you de-risking because your positions have appreciated and you're just following your trade plan and risk management? Or are you de-risking because you think there's an imminent reversal or downturn that you're trying to protect yourself from? I'd actually like to poll the group and see if we can get the temperature on that. In sharp contrast, retail investors embrace the downturn as a chance to, quote, buy the dip. For the first time in 4 weeks, this cohort became net buyers, purchasing a total of $200 million in equities. I just want to reiterate how great the work that our producer is, or how great work our producer does. What is this, a dip for ants? Man, it's. I don't know that it's ever really going to get old. It's just so good. This classic market dynamic, where seasoned institutions sell into buying from individual investors, is often viewed as a cautionary indicator. If highlights in a critical split in sentiment, raising It highlights a critical split in sentiment, raising questions about whether retail optimism will be rewarded or if the institutional flight signals turbulence ahead from the markets. Again, in that same article that I linked there, you're going to have a link to the Kobisi letter and its thread there as well. Now, someone asked about the data here. September's U.S. employment report, unemployment rate, and hourly wages data, which was supposed to be out at 8:30 today, will not be released because of the shutdown. September's S&P final U.S. services PMI and ISM services will also be delayed, but Fed Reserve Vice Chair Philip Jefferson will speak at 1:40 Eastern today. All right, now we were talking a little bit about bubbles and potential downturns. Got a little bit more on that. We're going to dive into that a little bit more here. As mentioned earlier, Uri and Timmer suggested investors be prepared for a 1999 style melt up, drawing direct parallels from today's market dynamics to the period leading up to the 2000 tech bust. We already covered this tweet here. Timmer's observations come amid growing concerns from other financial experts and key indicators that suggest the market is entering historically overvalued territory. Fed Reserve Chair Jerome Powell recently acknowledged that, quote, by many measures, equity prices are fairly highly valued, end quote. Indeed, several long-term valuation metrics are sounding alarms. We've talked about them, but to reiterate here, the Buffett indicator measuring total market cap to GDP has surged to an unprecedented 216.6%. The Shiller cyclically adjusted price to earnings ratio, or CAPE ratio, that Tim Melvin discusses on a regular basis, has surpassed 40 for the first time since 2000, nearing its all-time high of 44.19, which it reached in December of 1999. The forward PE ratio of the S&P 500 stands at 22.8, approximately 40% above its long-run average, while mid-cap and small-cap stocks remain near their historical norms, indicating a narrow, top-heavy market. Other major financial institutions are also drawing comparisons, though with differing levels of concern regarding a potential downside. GQG Partners takes a more cautious stance, warning that while today's tech giants may possess stronger balance sheets than their dot-com predecessors, quote, the consequences for the current AI boom could be worse than those of the dot-com era, as its scale relative to the economy and the market is far greater. GQG's research suggests that the current tech boom might be the dot-com on steroids, fueled by potentially overstated earnings and unsustainable capital expenditure. Wells Fargo advisors echoed the sentiment of market concentration, observing that both the dot-com era and today, quote, a small handful of stocks and sectors carried the S&P 500 to new record highs, end quote. In 2000, information technology and telecom accounted for nearly half of the index. Today, technology, communications, and consumer discretionary, again dominated by mega cap tech, make up more than 55%. Despite the historical parallels and expert warnings, Fed Chair Powell has sought to temper immediate fears. While acknowledging high valuations, he stated, quote, I do not believe that this is a time for elevated financial stability risks, end quote, suggesting that the central bank has not yet alarmed about systemic threats from asset prices. Ultimately, while AI-driven enthusiasm propels the market upwards with a melt-up reminiscent of the 1990s, the underlying metrics and expert analysis suggest investors should remain acutely aware of the juicy similarities to a period that ended dramatically. So I feel like we've done our job here. We have a group of very active, very sharp members. Just be prepared for both. That's basically what all of this stuff is saying. If you sat on the sidelines from the big tariff scare in April, you missed one of the biggest bull runs ever. And if you sit on the sideline now because you're worried that the market is going to crash and the market takes another leg up, you're going to miss even more of that. Instead, be prepared to play both sides, keep yourself nimble, and don't overdo it on anything. This is just kind of a relatively basic cautionary risk management tale. Here's a list of some AI-linked exchange-traded funds that investors can consider. These might help mitigate some of that risk if you still want to have exposure to that. I'm just going to go through the names here. The 1 year and year-to-date performance is in the article that I just gave you. iShares US Technology, that's the IYW, the FTEC, which is the MSCI Information Technology Index, FDN, IGM, IXN, QTUM, which is the Quantum ETF, and MAGS, MAGS, which is the Roundhill Magnificent 7 ETF. So some other ways here to maybe still gain exposure with a little bit of lower risk. The SPY and the Qs, which track the S&P and the NASDAQ respectively, rose on Thursday. SPY was up 0.12% and the Qs were up 0.41%. They've come back in a little, but they are still hanging on to green. Actually, the SPY here, the ES here, is still up 0.12%. All right, Dan Ives making some more news. I'm glad we were able to talk to Peter yesterday. Hopefully, Peter did put in a good word. I'd like to bring Dan on here and ask him some questions myself. Prominent Wedbush tech analyst Dan Ives is forecasting an imminent surge of mergers and acquisitions across the technology sector, declaring that the artificial intelligence M&A floodgates are ready to be opened. Citing an intensifying AI arms race, Ives has identified a watch list of prime takeover targets, including cybersecurity firms and consumer tech companies. In a recent note to clients reported by CNBC and a post on X, Ives argued that both strategic and financial buyers are gearing up for a flurry of acquisitions. He pointed to a more lenient regulatory landscape as key catalysts that will make it easier for deals to close. Quote, "We believe that tech M&A floodgates are ready to be opened as more opportunities arise and accretive assets with an easier path forward," end quote. His comprehensive list of M&A targets features the following tickers: C3AI, that's ticker AI; SanDisk, which we have been talking about as part of the memory trade that seems to be extended a little here, ticker there SNDK; Tenable Holdings, ticker TENB; Sentinel-1, ticker S; Lyft, which some of us have traded here on this show, ticker LYFT; Qualys, I think is how you pronounce that, ticker QLYS; Varonis Systems, ticker VRNS; and Elastic NV, ticker ESTC; and TripAdvisor, ticker TRIP. For anyone that wants to take a look at these, you can. The other aspect of this is that if we do get M&A, plus we get some of these IPOs coming to market, I think stocks like Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley and other investment banks, those will probably also trade higher. We'll see. Ives anticipates that tech giants like Apple and IBM, which he suggests are playing catch up in the AI race, will be among the most highly acquisitive firms during this wave. The prediction comes as the industry has already seen significant M&A activity, such as CoreWeave and Core's, the deal for Core's data centers. Also, Palo Alto reported the acquisition of CyberArk, that was ticker CYBR. I've traded that in the past. Ives expects this trend to accelerate as large-scale tech players look to buy niche AI use cases to expand their product portfolios. The forecast carries significant weight in the market, where Ives has established himself as an influential voice on tech trends. It's one of the reasons we want to talk to him here. His analysis is that the foundation of the Dan Ives Wedbush AI Revolution ETF, ticker IVES, you know you've made it if you have your own ETF named after you. I can only hope to get halfway to this gigantic milestone at some point. Anyway, IVES, which recently underscored strong investor confidence by surpassing $750 million in assets under management just months after its launch in June of 2025. It's risen 30% since its listing. 30% for an ETF. Just absolutely crazy. Next here, and I know I'm blowing you guys away with news here. I just want to get through it. We're going to do plenty of charts with Mark Petrino here. 13 is going to be on to do the movers, so don't worry. We will get to all of that. I really do just want to finish off some of this news here. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang reportedly frustrated as Trump's Commerce Secretary slows the UAE chips deal over a China link. A multi-billion-dollar deal for NVIDIA to supply advanced AI chips to the UAE has been stalled for months, reportedly frustrating CEO Jensen Huang as U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick pushes Abu Dhabi to finalize investments before shipments proceed. NVIDIA's market cap has reached $4.59 trillion, with shares climbing 58.97% over the past year and advancing 36.61% in 2025 to date. On Thursday, the stock rose almost a full percent, according to Benzinga Pro. The deal does face unexpected delays. The agreement, which was announced in May, was meant to showcase the White House's push to expand U.S. tech influence abroad while countering China's AI ambitions. However, the Emirati investments have yet to materialize, baffling some administration officials. That was reported by the Wall Street Journal, citing people familiar with the matter. The stalled deal is seen as a setback for Huang and White House AI czar David Sachs, who view such agreements as crucial to advancing U.S. tech strategy and maintaining an edge over China in the AI race. Quote, Sachs and Secretary Lutnick are integral to the president's AI agenda and are working diligently to get deals done on behalf of the American people, end quote. That was the White House spokesman Kush Desai telling the publication. Now, there are some security concerns over the UAE-China ties, of course. The Commerce Department's approval is required before NVIDIA can deliver the chips. Lutnick has conditioned approval on the UAE finalizing its U.S. investments, while also raising concerns about the Gulf nation's close relationship with China. Huang and NVIDIA executives have privately expressed frustration over these delays. One senior executive denied the company is alarmed. NVIDIA and the Commerce Department did not immediately respond to Benzinga's request for comments. We will update you if we do, in fact, get one of those. The UAE deal was touted by President Trump during his May visit to Abu Dhabi, part of what the White House had said was more than $200 billion in bilateral agreements. The UAE's pledge to fund U.S. data centers for AI training while purchasing billions of NVIDIA chips. For now, the deal remains stuck, with one official saying at least $1 billion in investments and chips could still be exchanged by year's end. So it's not despite the delays, it's not done yet. For now, the deal remains stuck. Oh, I just read the same thing. Geez, come on, Ryan. Last week, UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed met OpenAI CEO Sam Altman in Abu Dhabi to discuss AI collaboration. The talks focused on building an integrated AI ecosystem to support the UAE's development goals. Separately, in July, it was reported that Taiwan Semiconductor, ticker TSM, is reportedly considering building a 6-factory gigafab in the UAE, pending U.S. regulatory approval due to the Gulf nations' ties with China and Iran. By the way, for NVIDIA, the proprietary edge rankings that we have both in Pro and in Edge, just eye-poppingly good for NVIDIA. The only one that's low there is value, and I suppose that makes sense. By the way, as we're speaking here, Ondas continuing to trade higher. Who's excited? Who is excited? Who's excited? You know who's excited? Everyone in here, because it's time to bring on Mark Petrino, so I'm not going to waste any more time. Mark, good morning. Are you excited?
Yeah, man, I am, because every day it seems like my value of my brokerage account goes up.
That is a good place to be, buddy. In addition to that, because I'm seeing the same thing, in addition to that, I got a Cubbies win yesterday, I got a Tigers win yesterday, and I got a parlay that hit. So this is going to be a fabulous Friday.
Okay, cool. I mean, I actually watched the Yankees game. I don't really follow baseball until we get to the. I love watching baseball in the fall, like the pennant and the World Series.
Me too.
Man, that kid, that pitcher on the Yankees, man, that was pretty incredible.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that Yankee game was really exciting. I flipped to it a little bit, but predominantly was watching the football game. It's gonna be a good year. I'm really excited. All right, Mark, let's get back down to brass tacks here. You want to share your screen? What do you got for us today?
Well, there's a lot of different things going on.
Yeah, real quickly here, Jonathan saying non-farm payrolls data 2 minutes. No, we won't. We won't be getting that data here today. So it's going to be a feed up day. We don't have to worry about any of that data yet. Mark, let me go ahead and throw your charts up here. What do you got?
Well, you guys were just talking about NVIDIA, and I mean, this thing just keeps kind of roaring along. The chart looks good. We just broke this resistance. So we got to, when we look at these charts, right, what we want to do is think about, or if it's done right, a lot of people don't understand technical analysis, which I don't even like that name. I call it equilibrium analysis. But let's think about the breakout, and that's when you get above resistance and why that could be a bullish dynamic. Okay. Well, resistance is a large group of sellers that are close to or at a specific level. Here it's around 184, I guess 185. Now, sometimes when you get to resistance, some of these people that want to sell start to get anxious and impatient, and they start to think they're going to miss out. they know the buyer is going to go to whoever is willing to sell at the lowest price. So they don't want to get undercut. So someone might have been like, all right, well, I'm going to do 184. I'm going to drop down to 183. The next person's like, that guy went to 183. I'm going to go to 182. And you get this snowball effect. But sometimes when you get to resistance, eventually the resistance breaks and the stock goes higher. And what that means is that the people who created the resistance with their sell orders have either finished or canceled their orders. So it shows that a large amount of supply has been taken out of the market. And markets are driven by supply and demand. If you take supply out, meaning sellers, when the buyers come in, they have a hard time finding sellers. So they got to really jack the price up. And you can see NVIDIA is up again in the pre-market this morning. And it just looks pretty good and healthy because it's not overbought. A couple of weeks ago, we had a big kind of shift in sentiment, but it's really kind of stuck right there. So I think people are still a little on the bearish side, which is enough for me to think that the market will keep working its way higher. And then, of course, what is going on over here in healthcare, I think with this, with the Pfizer deal, I mean, I think that's going to have profound implications or impact in the long run. In the short run, maybe some of these stocks are kind of a little bit overbought, but here's our healthcare sector. And one of the ways that you can look for trading ideas is look for a sector that looks like it's breaking out, for example, like here. And then what we can do is look within the sector at the various stocks that are in it. Like I mentioned, Pfizer. Yeah. So, I mean, so now here's an example of, even though we had this like potentially really, big news for the future of healthcare, you still got to pay attention to the market principles that we talk about. So the stock blasts off when the news is announced, and look at where it stalled out, right here at the same level that had been resistance before. So there's an old saying in the market, sell at former peaks. And that's because, like we just talked about, a lot of times when you get to the resistance, if you don't break through, you end up selling off. So you see here resistance at a former resistance level all through in here. So it's pretty interesting stuff. But I guess for our option traders, some of the stuff might be a little bit overbought and maybe be looking to reverse and head a little bit lower. Oh, I actually did one of my stock of the days was on Costco.
Ooh, let's go. Perfect. We had a couple of questions about Costco recently. This is perfect timing. Way to go. I told you we were going to have a good day today. I warned you.
So how was your golf last weekend?
You know what? So really quickly, that was good. Played obviously 2 courses in a state that I've never played golf in before. I did not get to utilize the leaf rule.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, look, that's okay because I was able to find my ball. It was fun. We had a great time. Beautiful wedding. Really happy for my coworker and friend Jacob. So
Sweet.
all good across the board.
All right. Now, one of the things I was looking at on this is I don't typically look at this moving average convergence divergence indicator. I use more RSI and Bollinger Bands, but it's not that one's better than the other. You got to just figure out what one fits your personality, what one you like, and so forth. But anyway, a lot of times when something gets to support or a level that had been support before, you rally. Now, the reason why there's support at a level that was support before is, again, psychology. This is due to seller's remorse. People sell here right at the bottom, and then the price goes higher. And a lot of them tell themselves, damn, I made a mistake. If this gets back to my price and I could buy my shares back at the same price I sold them at, I will. So remorseful sellers placing buy orders can make support stay intact. Now we have the mirror image of what we just talked about coming off of resistance. Now the buyers start to get anxious and impatient, and they know that the seller is going to go to whoever is willing to pay the highest price. So someone might be, okay, I was bidding 890, I'm going to go to 891. Someone else sees that person and says, I'm going to go to 892. And then you just get the bidding war, which pushes you off of the support. So Costco here is getting close to a support level. If it gets down a little bit more, I think we could be looking at a possible reversal. Down here, I have what is called the moving average convergence divergence indicator. One of the main reasons why people lose money is because they guess. They don't know what to do. They don't have signals. They don't have rules. Traders should have rules. Now, a potential rule here could be, all right, if we get down closer to this support and then we start coming back, if we start coming back, this blue line is going to cross back above this red line, and that could be a good trigger to get there and buy. So you can see like right here,
Yep.
you would have bought right on this
Yep.
day right there over here.
And then also when it crosses to the downside, would that have been the exit signal? Just looking at that example from August that you just highlighted there, it looks like when the blue line crossed back down, look at that.
Yeah. Well, everything is kind of a mirror image, right? If you're trading an overbought stock coming off of resistance or a oversold stock coming off of support, it's the same thing. So so you could use the upper cross as your entry signal and the lower cross as your exit signal.
Yeah, and I mean you could even front run that a little bit and probably even got a better price. But okay, no, that's really good stuff there.
Yeah. So the energy sector has had a big reversal, and this is related to oil. So energy looked like it was kind of breaking out, but if we go and look at oil over in the futures markets over here, we can see that oil just broke a support level. Now, sometimes, like we talked about, things come off of support when the buyers start to outbid each other. Sometimes the sellers eventually overpower the buyers and the support breaks. And this can be viewed as a bearish thing or a bearish indicator. It's the opposite of the breakout to the upside. If we get below the support, we can infer that the people who created the support with their buy orders have finished or canceled. So anytime you take a large amount of demand out of the market, it sets the stage for supply to push the price lower, because when the sellers come in, they're going to have a hard time finding buyers. Now, things tend to find support at former support levels, like we just talked about. So if oil happens to get down to around here, 57 or so, and it starts to reverse, well, then a retail trader can get exposure through something like ExxonMobil. This follows oil pretty closely in a lot of ways. You see how it's kind of breaking down. It's not going to be perfect because futures trade all the time, and this trades in United States hours. But then there's also some oil ETFs. There's the USO, which is designed to track the price of oil. So this could be a way that a retail trader could get exposure to this. So a lot of stuff going on out there. Pretty amazing.
Could we ask, do you have more? Can we ask you about one?
Of course.
All right. We had a question here about Intel. Intel, obviously, not only in the news here, but has really been making some moves here. Selena would like us to take a look at that, if that's all right.
Yeah. Yeah. Intel is seems to have come back to life. And TC. Now, this is at an interesting juncture here. It's really overbought. Well, yeah, I mean, it's pretty overbought. So what you want to do is watch this $36 level here, because we could be on the verge of a breakout. I mean, it's up again this morning by 70 basis points. So that's a pretty decent move. So if we break out here, again, remember, resistance is a large group of sellers. If we can get above this level, and it's not a coincidence that the rally stalled out when it got there. It's remorseful buyers from here placing sell orders over here that caused it to be resistance again. If we can get above that, we can infer that those sellers are gone. And to me, it looks like Intel would have some room to run.
Let me ask you. Sorry, let me just jump in here and ask you a really quick question. This might be nitpicking, so if this doesn't matter, don't feel bad. I'm looking at this $36 level, which really kind of jumps off the page, frankly, like a sore thumb here. And the candle on the left side there has a big wick above 36. But the recent candle that we made here is a full body candle busting away from that level. Does that tell you that anything about maybe what is next here? Like, for example, that first candle, we just basically peaked above 36, couldn't hold above it. But now we clearly closed above it, and it appears as if there's still maybe buying appetite for this. Does that matter at all?
Yeah, and if you look at these candles, you can get a lot of information from them. So let's just think about what the candle shows. A blue candle, the close is higher than the open. All right. Now, this means we open there and we close there. We opened there yesterday and we closed there. So basically what this shows you is that the thing opened and then it trended higher all through the course of the day and it closed near its highs. And the same thing here. So that's some strong buying. That's pretty positive action.
Right.
So my guess is that this will probably continue to move ahead.
And that's exactly why I was asking, because sometimes when the stocks trade up to these resistance levels, there's always a thought, well, it could break here or it could stop here. And to me, this candle tells me that it looks, at least so far, that it has no interest in stopping. It wants to keep going. And
Yeah,
so I would generally look at that and be like, this looks like a good break.
I would agree with that.
Okay.
You can get a lot of information from these candles. Like, for example, if we go back here to this one, the thing that looks like the old sledgehammer pattern,
Yep.
right? So what this shows is that the open and the close were pretty close to each other. But over the course of the day, the low trade was here. So the sellers are really in charge, and then they're still in charge on this day. And somewhere over the course of the day, the buyers took over and pushed the price all the way back. And when a market is going down, it's out of equilibrium. There's more supply than demand. When a market is going up, it's out of equilibrium. There's more demand than supply. Somewhere in the shift, in the leadership change, there's going to be a place where there's perfect equilibrium. Like we can use our Seinfeld refrigerator reference.
I love that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, right. Or a seesaw, where the seesaw is going and from one side to the other, but for like a split second, it's in perfect equilibrium. So this shows here that the buyers and the sellers are equalized. They're of equal strength. So that's the first thing that has to happen before the equilibrium swings the other way. So that's a little bit of like a one day reversal pattern.
Okay. Can you do me a favor and zoom out a little bit here?
Yeah.
Just keep the same chart, but just zoom out. Zoom out. Let's get more price history in here. A little bit more. A little bit more. The reason that I'm asking that, if you go back enough, you're going to be able to draw a trend line, and it basically finishes or it terminates shortly. Yeah, this is right. So from those two peaks, basically, the one there, yeah, where you have that black line, that second peak, and then connect it through that one at the end of 2023 and keep it going. Yep. Bang. This to me gives me a target. I would actually put it at the top of that candle back from the end of 2023. And then that gives us a target for Intel if it continues to move to the upside. That's it. But it's all about how you draw your lines, right? It's not necessarily a right answer there. This is what I'm looking at, right? We got a 36 break. I have a target right above. If we snap that trend line, I think it's okay. We have a new trend there. You could probably also draw a horizontal line from all those supports that you're outlining as well.
Yeah, this is a chart that I like to show people, this whole concept of market memory.
Yeah.
So that means an important price level can retain its importance for a long time. Now, this green line here is, let's say, 43.5 or so. First support in January of 18, November of 18, December of 18, May of 19, March of 20, that's the COVID crash, November of 20, and then again in March of 22 before it finally broke. That's, 4 years, 5 years. It's pretty amazing.
Okay.
If you ask me, I mean, I don't know, man. I've been doing this a long time, and this stuff still amazes me.
Yeah, no, it does. We joke about it every day. 13, when he comes on, he's a master at seeing trend lines. I'm convinced he sees them in real life too, by the way. But he's a master at finding these trend lines, and it's amazing how often the price will respond to these, and they're on entirely different types of stocks, different industries, different share structure, different price, different everything, and still it all seems to work, and it's so nice when a plan comes together. Okay, really good stuff here on Intel. Got a couple more I want to ask about here, if that's all right, unless you had another one that you wanted to go over.
Fire away.
All right, we got one here. We can actually do some of these small ones. Let's see what Mark says in the small ones. Let's take a look at Ovid, OVID. This is actually one of the movers here from today. It's a dollar stock, so maybe it's not great. But let's just see if there's anything in the chart here, because I think it does have a pretty, yeah, see, this has got a pretty interesting chart. So let me know what you see here on this.
Well, one of the things that sticks out right away is here's our example of or another example of how what a level that was support can become resistance. Now, this happens because of buyer's remorse, right? People buy here
Yep.
and the price blasts off, and a lot of them are like, oh, this is great. But then all of a sudden, we have this massive gap down, and the support breaks. Now, a lot of the people who bought shares regret doing so, and they say, if I can get out of this thing ever at break even, I'm going to. And I'm sure a lot of the people who are listening right now can associate with that. I know I can. So we get below, and then when we get back up to the level that was support, if you have enough remorseful buyers placing sell orders, what was support can convert into resistance, like it did there and like it did there. But now it looks like we broke out. We got a decent move this morning. I mean, these little stocks like this can just fly around because
Exactly.
because they're so because of the way people think, it's illogical. But if something's at $2.50 and then it goes to $3, someone might be like, well, whatever, it's only 50 cents. I wanted to buy it at 250. Now it's at three. I'm just going to go ahead and buy it. But if the stock goes from say 25 to 30, people are going to say, oh, that's up $5. I'm not going to buy it, even though it's the same thing in terms of percentage.
Yeah. So I've done that. Like I'm laughing at myself right now because I've literally done that. Pretty good spots here though.
Yeah. So we got this gap that we're going into here. Now, like we talked about, one of the main reasons for resistance is buyer's remorse. When you gap, meaning you close there and you open there, there's no trading in between. So if there's no trading, then there's no one who bought who's going to be trying to sell on the way back up. So there may not be a lot of sell interest in here, which means the buyers are going to have to be really aggressive. And then I think if we get up to here, I mean, I don't know what the news is on this.
Yeah, you know what? I'm sorry. I actually don't have that on my note sheet. Normally I'm prepared for this, but I don't have it this time. I can try and grab it here real quick.
That's right. It's probably some kind of pharmaceutical trial or treatment or something.
They priced a private placement up to 175 million in gross proceeds.
Wow.
They also announced positive top line results for the next generation. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that stuff. It's a drug that demonstrates strong inhibitory activity and a potential best-in-class safety profile. So good drug data and 175 million private placement is driving this higher.
Yeah. Well, regardless, there's still a good chance that if we get up to here around 260, that's the resistance.
Okay.
Now you can look and see that this is an important price for this stock. It was originally support back in January of 22. Then it became resistance in February of 23. Then it became support here in November of 23. Then March of 24. So that's an important price level. So I mean, I don't know what to do. I would look more into it in terms of how impactful this news is going to be. But if the news wasn't there, just speaking as a trader, this would be my sell target up around here.
Okay. Really good stuff. Great little plan there. Next one is CRSP. This is CRISPR, one of those gene editors.
CRSP. Well, it's just amazing how many stocks are just, skyrocketing.
And does that worry you at all?
Yeah, it does, because a lot of these stocks are just going vertical, right? And that could be a sign of panic buying or the fear of missing out buying, because there tends to be really aggressive buying at two places, at the beginning of a trend and at the end of a trend. And I know there's a lot of good things going on with the deals, the trade deals and everything. And I'm going to be impatiently waiting to get my $2,000 tariff distribution check.
Oh yeah, the people's check.
Did you see that?
I did. Man. I actually reported that this morning here.
Yeah. Well, hey, works for me.
Yeah. My thought on that real quick. I didn't offer my opinion on it. My thought on it. That's great and all. I'm really glad that prior to talking about that, he specified that his primary goal is paying down the debt, because Mark, the way I look at it, the debt's a huge deal. It should absolutely be the priority. And I would forego a $2,000 check to myself if it meant that we were actually taking some fiscal responsibility in this country for however knows how long.
My take on the debt is that I don't think enough people are concerned about it, because it is so high $37 trillion. It's like beyond human comprehension.
Yeah.
To conceive of how big that actually is. It's like trying to conceive of, you could say, oh, Alpha Centauri is 3.5 light years away.
Yeah.
But you can't really conceive of how far a light year is.
No.
In the human mind. One of my students once did a calculation, and they determined that if you stacked up single dollar bills, you can, on 37 trillion, you could go to the moon and back 9 times.
Wow.
So that's quite a
yeah. I mean, that's insane.
That's quite a stack of bills
insane.
There. But anyway, CRISPR, yeah, I mean, this looks like a breakout, and assuming nothing changes, I mean, I think this thing could get up to around here pretty quickly. So just like we talked about, you get resistance at former resistance levels. I don't really see anything that looks like it's going to be meaningful resistance until we get up to around here. In general, when a stock or any market or any security for that matter, when it changes a trend at a certain price, that makes that level a lot of times become important. So in a situation like here, the trend changes at support, and then that becomes a support level, and then it becomes a resistance level. So the fact that the trend changed here, I mean, I don't know why this is where the buyers originally came out of the woodwork on this particular stock, but after this turn here happened, well, that made this price important. You could see it was support, support, resistance, resistance. But yeah, I mean, I think that this thing has some pretty good potential to get all the way up to 90 relatively quickly.
And same deal here with these 2 recent peaks that are around that 70 handle, just like we took a look at on the God, what stock was that? The one that was in the 30s, Intel. Just like we took a look at it, Intel, that first peak there is a big time wick, a peak above. But the candle that broke it, that is a power bull candle. So definitely looks like the situation is different here. Okay, I want to do another one here. Several people have asked for Plug. I hope I don't regret this. Let's try Plug. This is a crummy day trader stock as far as I'm concerned until it proves otherwise. But a number of people are asking about it, so we give the people what they want.
This could be a potential short squeeze.
And actually, let me pull the short interest for you while you're breaking that down on Plug. I'd be happy to do that. 30.98% of the float is shorted, Mark. That is actually of the most recent print where it ticked up by about 0.5%. 9.26 days to cover. I concur. This absolutely has short squeeze potential.
Yeah. So the way a short squeeze works is if someone wants to, someone thinks the stock is going to go down, they sell it short. They borrow the shares from someone else and they sell them. Their intention is that in the future, they can buy them at a lower price, return the shares, and keep the difference. So when a stock starts going up, a short seller starts to lose money. They're placing a bet that the stock goes down. So as it goes higher and higher, the shorts start to freak out and they start to cut ahead of each other. It's like panic buying. It's the opposite of a sell-off, panic selling.
It's a rush to cover.
So then the climax comes when the people who loan the shares out see how high the stock has gone and they say, gee, I want to sell my stock. Look how high it's gone. And they call their broker and they sell. The broker goes to the person that they loan the shares to and says, you got to give those shares back. You got to go buy them regardless of the price. And that drives it up. And when all that's over, the thing just kind of comes right back down to earth. So this morning we're trading higher here and we're right around this blue line, which is where we found resistance around 320, resistance from back here, even goes back farther there, right? So around 330. Yeah, so that's literally right where we're trading. So the thing about these short squeezes, if this is one, and I mean it really looks like it, if you consider the fact that in 4 days the stock is up, 50%, that's got short squeeze written all over it. So these things can skyrocket, but a lot of times when that short squeeze unwinds, it just comes right back to earth. So one of the things I've had some luck with, well, I don't want to say luck, but I should say success. Some of the things I've had success with is looking for these short squeeze stocks that go vertical And then when they start to come apart, to buy puts on them, even puts that are out of the money, like really cheap puts, because this thing could drop like a rock. And I think for a really small stock, I think this has a pretty liquid option market.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah, so that's interesting. I'd be looking for a sharp reversal sooner or later.
Okay. Okay, I've got one here for you.
Like, look at this. This is
What's
a good
that?
example. Blasts off and just comes right back to earth.
Yep. And gap down too on that comeback to earth, a huge gap down that really kind of accelerated it.
Look at this one. Got all the way up to there. Jeez.
Like I said, and there was someone else was making the point here. Plug has bags here. Again, this is a day trader stock, so Zach's exactly right. There are a number of traders that are stuck in this, probably higher, and that's going. I think that really makes some of these resistance levels stand out a little bit more. That's how I would say it. Okay, I got one more really quick one for you. How about ETHA?
ETHA?
Correct.
Oh, the Ethereum?
Yes, sir.
ETF? All right, well, this is going to track Ethereum. So let's go take a look at Ethereum, because it's probably get a little bit of a better idea. Yeah, so Ethereum, we can see that we've had resistance. So this thing is taken off, right? And back in August, it gets up here. Now, why did it hit resistance there? The answer is because it was resistance way back here. So former peak becomes a peak here, just like it did here. So my guess is that this thing will probably continue to trend a little bit higher. And then once we get up to around 47, 4,800, then that's where you watch for the possible it's either going to break out or it's going to reverse. The odds are very slim that it stays there for an extended period of time. When something gets to an important price, see how this resistance here, support here, it doesn't stay there for too long. I mean, this was here for literally 2 days, 2 days, probably 1 hour or whatever.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you looked inside, it was probably even less than a day. Yeah. All right. So thanks for that. Let me blow your mind right now, though. Let me blow your mind right now. The reason that I asked you about that, do you eat McDonald's?
Not when I can help it.
Yeah, not when I can help it. Me too. Guess what? The McRib is back. Now you might be wondering, why is Ryan talking about the McRib? Well, because Ryan uncovered a tweet yesterday that is bananas. This is what happens to the price of Bitcoin when the McRib returns.
Oh,
you are here. So I'm just saying, I don't fade the McRib. I'm not going to fade the McRib. And I'm looking for a way to maybe kind of tongue-in-cheek play this little thing that we have here, Mark. So ETHA might be the way that I do that via calls. We'll see how it responds here today. But I just wanted to cover this because, man, when I first saw this, I was in hysterics. So, okay. Mark, real good stuff. We really appreciate your time. Look, enjoy your weekend. Is the weather still good by you? Are you still able to golf and stuff?
Oh, yeah. It's beautiful. The leaves are changing. It's like 60 degrees.
Yeah, this is the best, when it's nice and cool and it's still nice outside. All right, do me a favor, Mark. Have yourself a great weekend. We're going to check in with you next week, okay?
Okay. All right, Ryan. All right, everyone. Have a nice weekend.
All right. That is Mark Petrino. Folks, don't forget to sign up for his Substack. He does great work here with us. We are absolutely thrilled with it. Really good breakdown right there. Born, I'm glad that you like the McRib indicator there. That's really good stuff. Okay, let's see where 13 is. Up just when I said that, 13 shows up. All right, let's go ahead and check in with him and see how he's doing. 13, how you doing, boss?
I'm doing just fine. How's everybody this morning?
We're doing great, man. We are doing great. Day Trader says you can look for shortages in Ritalin and then right after for bullish sentiment. But yes, the McRib, interesting. Day Trader, I'm going to say this. I'm just going to throw this out there. I am interested in any of these odd indicators or cycles that we can find. So if you guys find anything like that McRib indicator or like the Ritalin indicator that Day Trader is talking about here, feel free to tweet me. I'd love to take a look at that. It makes me laugh. All right, 13. Let's just start with the movers here. I think we should have plenty of time to make it through all the stuff we want to do here in the pre-market. Do you have any that you want to start with, or should I start at the top of the list?
Honestly, these are all ones that we've seen before this week. I think they are all kind of fit the same thing. They're all Momo from yesterday or earlier this week, but let's go ahead and see what you start with.
Okay, real quickly here, we had a question. Let me put this on the screen, 13, real quick. There we go. All right. Selena, excuse me. How to sign up with Mark. Oops, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, that turned the caption off. How to sign up with Mark. You go to this web address. I put the right there on the screen. It's markpetrinocmt.substack.com. Also, keep in mind, Selena, that Mark gives content as part of the Benzinga Edge subscription, our introductory subscription to the Benzinga ecosystem. You also get Tim Melvin content in there, the perfect stock portfolio and the income portfolio. So lots of other content through Benzinga Edge. But if you want Mark Petrino directly, please visit his Substack and help support him. He does great stuff here with us. Okay, 13, I'm going to move to the movers here. We're going to start with DFLI. Now, careful. This is Dragonfly, but it's not the D Pro Dragonfly. All right. So this is actually a different company here. Now, this peaked yesterday in the after hours, regressed a little bit. Now we're making another move for that high. Dragonfly Energy was selected for Nevada Tech Hub's funding to bolster the lithium battery supply chain. That's your news that's driving this higher here. Take a quick look at the short interest. You got 5.44% of the float shorted with 1.06 days to cover. That comes on an average 100-day volume of 35.7 million. Today we've traded 22 already prior to the open. Float a little bit higher than some of these smaller movers at 60 million, but still manageable. What do you think here on ticker DFLI?
Without getting too much into this, since we already know a little bit about this company, it does need cash. It has some revenue, and that's the thing that you're going to be seeing with these other ones we're looking at. They do all need cash. They all do have some little bit of revenue, but this one is kind of interesting because if you look at what's going on with the 5-minute chart, looks like we're about to retest these highs from the after hours yesterday. That's going to be at 164. It's got a nice setup here for a scallop. So if we manage to hold above this 150 area, which on the daily chart, the 200 EMA has at 150. So nice to see it move through that before the open. We need to see this break over 164 to take us higher. So that's what I'm going to be looking at here as we approach the open. We need to hold over that 200 day EMA, and we need it's at 150, and we need to break out through this 164. If that happens, the next upside resistance area that I see beyond 164 is going to be up at 195.
Okay, perfect. You already have a level above. If we crack this 13, I would expect nothing less. Really good stuff. Before we cover XELB here, I did want to highlight Samel's comment. First of all, good morning, Mama Bear, and good morning, Samel. Samel here is saying, hi, I'm very much impressed joining you in happy hour last night. Quite a sophisticated discussion. Loved the intensity. Thank you. And you're welcome. You're welcome, Samel. Get in there, 13.
Can I point out, got to shout out Hakeem, who was talking about ASTS, and I'm not seeing any reason why it has gapped up overnight, but I was looking for 60. He said this thing was going to go higher. Here we are up at 64. I don't know what this is on. Maybe it's, maybe a little bit of the short interest is having this effect. Would think that maybe this could gap fill to the downside because of how extended it is, but just got to say that was a big move. I was not expecting. Went over 60. Shout out to Hakeem.
Yeah, and this is what happy hour is, right? We will have sophisticated discussions. Samel, I wanted to highlight this because one of the things that I think gets lost when we're having some of these discussions about macro relationships, what's going on in other countries' economy and markets and all of that, is even for me, like I don't consider myself a very global investor, right? I'm more specific to the US market. So when I lean on people that have an expertise or some type of edge or angle into that market, I find myself learning all of the time. The one thing that I will say here is that when the conversation gets to be sophisticated, if there's something that you don't understand, ask a question. The entire happy hour show generated, when it first started, it was me just kind of doing charting. And then as I was doing it, more people like 13, who I believe was probably the first one, started to do some of their own charting too. And that kind of snowballed into other things like these sophisticated discussions that you witnessed last night. Thankfully, last night's discussion had a lot of stocks tied to them as well. So there's actually some trading ideas there. But I just want to point out that the discussions will range depending on what's going on in its complexity and its intensity. And if you ever have a question about it, that is the show to ask that. That's why it's open to everybody. So we were thrilled to have you there. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I look forward to having more of those awesome discussions. Thank you for the kind words and the support here. Okay. Next here we had XELB. But I actually have to get to click on the right thing there. XELB, XL Brands, finalizes a settlement agreement with IM Topco. This was reported yesterday in the after hours. We did trade up to about 320, looks like 316. And then we've come back in a little bit. We lost the VWAP here. We did make one attempt to try and get back to the VWAP, but it was failed. It didn't even really tap it, let alone get over it. We are staying above the 200 EMA here today, so that's great. We'll see if we get a curl off of the area that we're at, perhaps to the VWAP, and maybe even through the VWAP. Quick peek at the short interest here, 2.03% of the float shorted with 1.22 days to cover. Very minimal short interest, especially compared to some of the other ones that we looked at here today. On average, the stock trades 750,000 shares a day. Today, it's traded 12 million. Float here is 3.8 million. 13, what do you think here on ticker XELB?
Well, I didn't look at this one as one of the movers. It must have just kind of fallen off the radar from earlier, but nothing really that different compared to the other ones I covered. It does need cash. It does have some revenue, but it is not profitable yet. So still up in that wheelhouse. Float, as you pointed out, 3.8, so easy to move around. Let me see if I can get some levels here for you. One actually that does stand out. If you look at a daily chart and see where the price is right now, we've come up to the underside of this supply zone back from earlier this year, back in the spring. So you see where the price currently is right now at 233.
Yep.
Yeah, so that whole supply zone, if you look to the left there from earlier this year, that's what the price is currently trying to work its way through. You also have the 200-day SMA. I'm sure if I go to a daily chart in my broker, the 200 EMA is not going to be too far away. So the SMA is 261, the EMA is 285. Still both in that same area. Actually, more both of them kind of at the top end of that supply zone that we're looking at here, where the price currently is at. So lots of resistance areas in this one to get through. So going to need to see some pretty good volume in order to get through, those lagging indicators and this whole sideways supply area. And even if we do that, there's still some more resistance up in the 3 handle, like around 325. So don't know what kind of price action we're going to get. And look at how extended this thing is already. It's over 80 RSI. I think I'd be a little bit careful with this one. It seems like there's got a lot going against it this morning. So unless we get that big amount of volume that I was just mentioning, I don't know how high this thing is going to go. So I think those levels that I mentioned earlier, they're going to be really worth worth watching.
Okay. All right. Really good stuff there. XELB. Really quickly here, Super Mario, thank you very much for your excellent show. Thank you very much for your very excellent support and the tip. We appreciate it. If you have a chart that you would like 13 and I to break down, we'd be happy to do that for you as a thank you. Have a great Friday. That's what we're all here to do. All right, next here is going to be ASTC. This is Astro Tech. Looks like this started to trade up a little bit in the after hours yesterday. Big pop here today that immediately got sold back down. Good news here is that we're only a nickel away from VWAP, or between a nickel and a dime away from VWAP. So absolutely possible that we trade back above VWAP. We peaked above this earlier. Couldn't really make a big move, but we'll see what happens if it gets a little bit more volume to flow into it. Oh, let me start here with the news tab. Looks like nothing fresh. Last piece of news here was from the end of September. Looks like they did report EPS here. But today, it looks like it's trading up on no news, that elevated volume happening with no news. Short interest, 0.6% of the float shorted. So 0.6%, 1 day to cover, comes on an average volume of 10,000 shares. What, dude? That is so illiquid. Be careful. Today it's traded 1.5. Float here is 1.36. So it's right in that wheelhouse that we like. 13, what do you think here on ticker ASTC?
Another unprofitable company that needs
The
cash.
deep sigh right before you said that.
I mean,
it says it all. I know. I get it, dude. I get it.
This is everything that's moving this morning is just these, these companies that just need capital. And it's really concerning to see all of these up because it makes it kind of hard to really find something good to trade, knowing that they're going to have to raise capital at some point soon. And that could happen as early as today. So it makes it very, very difficult when looking at all these things that there is a trade, and some of them like this one don't even have a really high short interest. So not really going to see any squeeze action out of something like this. Let me look at the chart here because I don't think I looked at this one either, but it's okay because they're all the same thing today. They're all these low float names that need cash and probably going to raise it pretty soon. Let's see here with this one. We had a pop that took us up to 780.87 earlier this morning, came right back down and went beneath the VWAP. We did get back above it around 8:15. So that was about an hour ago. And we have been able to hold above VWAP from what I can tell. So that's encouraging. But it looks like the next area that's going to provide resistance is where we got it earlier this morning at 650 following that pop above VWAP. So next area is going to be 650. Then I would say, yeah, maybe that 787 high that we put in. I really don't know what something like this is going to end up doing. It's beyond all the daily EMAs. Maybe there's a weekly that we could look at that could be a stupid level. Speaking of which, that was pretty cool to see that one stock hit a stupid level yesterday.
Yeah, BTTC, right?
The one that kept gapping and halting.
I think the ticker was BTTC.
Yeah, if that was that one, that was incredible. Really, really great trade setups too, but very, very risky with all the halts. Anyway, ASTC looks like if there is going to be another resistance area to watch for, we do have the 65 week EMA. That's going to be at 666. So watch out for the mark of the beast.
Okay. All right, good stuff there. I'm going to skip ahead because a number of you are mentioning USAR is moving here. And indeed, not only is it gapping, but it is actually moving. Thank you, everyone that is mentioning this. Tennis, Samel, there were a couple of others. Yassine, whoever mentioned USAR here, I'm going to bump this ahead because this is actively moving. Appreciate all of you. This is U.S. Rare Earth. USA Rare Earth shares are trading higher on reports indicating the company is in discussions with the White House. So here we go. This is up 15.5%. You see, we actually just took out the pre-market high that was made on the biggest volume candle that we can see here in the pre-market. We actually took that out. We'll see what happens when this opens up. Just a little quick look around the horn on this one. 13.56% of the float shorted. If the government's buying, get out the way. 2.16 days to cover on this. On average, it trades 6.3 mil. Today, it's traded 2.8. Float is 71, so it's a little bit one of those thicker ones, but this is a legit company with a legit catalyst. 13, what do you think here on this?
Well, it's certainly moving on. Any kind of positive news that comes out of the White House or that deals with Trump, I think, let's go back to what Lydon was saying about NAK, that any announcement about that could send it. And I think it's to be a little bit more accurate, any announcement regarding the court cases regarding overturning the EPA's decision could send it. I think he was saying is, if Trump makes an announcement about this, it could send it. I think with how we're seeing this, it could be any one of those things that moves, stocks in the metals and mining sectors. So, because look at what happened with Lithium Americas. They were talking about taking a stake with that, and then there was another company that was moving on dealing with this administration. I can't remember which one it was, but it seems like every time there was a PR about, I think in one of these companies that's in talks. It's on the tip of my tongue. What's the Thacker? Which one? Which is the one? No, that's the Lithium Americas.
Thacker Pass is LAC. Yeah,
that's Lithium Americas. I thought there was another one though. But anyway, anytime that you're seeing these PRs about any discussions with the White House, with Trump, or this or that, we're just going to get this kind of movement. I think I'd be selling some of the, my holdings into this if I have any, just because we're still really extended and we've created a gap that we could fill to the downside. So I think if I was in this, and you might even be holding this for a long period of time, so don't let me change your plan if you are. But if this is just for a trade, maybe this is kind of the news you'd want to sell a little bit into.
Yeah. Okay. Good point here. Tennis's Life is steel manning that a little bit here. Anything White House related is pumping hard year to date. Think about it. MP, Intel, DOMH,
there we go.
LAC. Wait, was it one of those?
MP.
Yep. There we go. There you go. Jay Bookout. You got that too. Bam. All right. Good stuff here. That is USAR. We already kind of covered Ovid with Mark. I guess, you know what, though? I should give you a chance to see if you have anything here on Ovid. Just as a reminder, this had positive data for one of its treatments there, as well as a private placement for 175 million gross proceeds. Take a look at the short interest on this. Pretty negligible, 0.82%. And interestingly enough, that's actually a significant downtick from its previous reading. 1 day to cover, that comes on an average 100-day volume of 2 million shares. Today we've done 28.2. Float here is 59.5. 13, do you have any thoughts here on Ovid as we basically straddle the VWAP here in the pre-market?
Well, let me take a look here at the chart. I'm sure this is going to be another one that just has to, raise capital at some point. Okay, so I'm looking at the weekly. Let's not do that. So we did have a pop here that took in the, when the no, I think this was already after the pre-market had opened. We just got out of this out of nowhere pop about a few hours later. That took us up to 241. And you said there was news associated with that?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't read into that. So
okay.
Let me just. Okay, so they got private placement. Okay, cool. This looks like it could be doing the same thing that DFLI is. You see what? If you go back to DFLI, look. Let's take a snapshot, mental snapshot of what that looks like right now. Now go over the DFLI.
DFLI, we got it.
So you see how we had that impulse move up to in the after hours, and then we kind of found support as we rounded out, and now we came back up to test that high again. I think we'll get some similar price action with OVID. That's going to take it up to that 241 high that it made earlier.
Okay. Really good stuff there. By the way, poll is closing here in a sec, so be sure to vote. And also this, okay. So Zach here mentioning Ovid, the Metamorphosis. If you haven't read this, this is an old classic piece of literature. You absolutely should. I grabbed a pile of dust and holding it up, foolishly wished for as many birthdays as the grains of dust. I forgot to ask that they be years of youth. How about that, Zach? You didn't think you were going to get an Ovid Metamorphosis quote here today, but you did. This is where we're at. All right. Next on the list here is going to be QCLS. This is QC Technologies. This thing's spiking here in the pre-market up above the $6 handle. I have no news for this. So this is moving on no news, 20% on no news here. Take a look at the short interest. I got nothing there either. This looks like a new issue here, to be quite honest with you. 13, excuse me. Sorry about that. Float 1.84 million. On average, stock trades 1.1. It's traded 1.3 here today. There's pretty much nothing on this other than a chart. And I'm imagining without covering this here, you might not have anything. Do you have anything that you're looking at on this?
Well, I could go over this Form 8. That probably will tell us a lot of what we want to know about this company. But I'm not going to. So
I love it
because that's boring. So let's look at the chart here. Okay. Well, I have some levels marked off from the last time we traded this, and that means that this 603. I think I meant to have it leveled off at like 6 or 605, but let's just go with 603. That was a resistance area coming up to this impulse move this morning that took us up to 631. Once that came back down underneath VWAP, trying to get back over that 603, not having a whole lot of success until about half an hour ago. Now we're above this 603 level, making our way back up to 631. And it's a little bit of a similar formation that we were getting with DFLI and the one we were just looking at, OVID. So looking for another test, maybe to move beyond that 631 high that we made. Next level I have above that's resistance, 687.
Okay. Really good breakdown there. QCLS. All right. Did you have anything else off of the movers list? I think there was someone here asking about one of these that wasn't near the top. It was, let me get the name right here. Desireen, that's a very pretty name. KDK, which is Kodiak, not Kodak, but Kodiak. This is trading up on, gapping up here in the pre-market. It's up by about 14.3%. It did pull back to the VWAP without breaking down, which I do like to see here. I didn't have this one on my list, so I don't know what's going on with this. Let's see, Friday, October 3rd. Okay, so these are just generic articles, not specific to Kodiak. Let me see if there's anything mentioned in here on Kodiak.
George Soros bet sends Kodiak AI spiking after hours. That's from yesterday.
Okay, so what?
So it looks like Soros filed a
13G from October 1, which revealed the Soros Fund Management, led by George Soros, is a 5.7% beneficial owner of Kodiak's AI.
That's it.
Okay. All right. Well, it's gonna be a hard pass for me on this, but nonetheless, this is a move higher here. Here's what the daily chart looks like. So maybe you do get a bounce back to the 11 handle here. Stock's currently 780. Let's take a look at the short interest. Don't have anything. Insiders, nope, no buys there. All right, what do you got here?
Okay, so the chart to me, I'm looking at a 5 minute. This looks like we're going to get some support around 760 as we kind of roll over here and go lower. We hit a high of 819 about half an hour ago. So I think this is going to come back in. It just kind of has that formation. Maybe down around this 760 to 775 area, there could be some support somewhere in there that gets it to pop back up to maybe 8 once we open. But this is really taking on a bearish looking form, like a bearish looking pattern here. So I'm not sure what the price action is going to be like as we go into the open. But I think I'm with you that this, I don't think I'd want to trade this one. It looks like it could lose a 65 EMA going, once we open. So I think I'd either just keep this on watch, see if we get a bounce there, or find something else to trade, because I think there might be some better opportunities in this. Okay,
really good stuff. And by the way, shout out to our producer here, QCLS, that stock that we just covered that used to be TNFA. That was TNF Pharmaceuticals, as mentioned here by Super Mario. So good stuff. Okay. All that glitters is saying Andis. Come on, Ryan. Okay. Well, there's no news here today. The news here today is that we are absolutely jamming. If you guys recall, I had told you that my next trim spot, we're going to do the J. Rice method of trimming, where we trim a lot and when the stock is much higher, as opposed to selling too early here. Next trim level is $10. Stock is $9.86 right now. And let me know if you liked my song there that I threw in the chat. Andis Roads, take me home to the place where I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Andis Roads. I don't know what else to say. Like I said, I'm really glad that this is working. We are almost there, folks. We are almost there. Okay, we got plenty of time. RP Trades is asking about rum, which did have news yesterday in the after hours. Shout out Yassine for mentioning this while we were on happy hour here. Ticker RUM is Rumble. Rumble shares are trading higher after the company announced a partnership with Perplexity to integrate its AI-powered tools. This sent it about to 850. That, just eyeballing it, looks to be the resistance here. We are above VWAP. We're holding here pretty much right near VWAP. But take a look at the short interest on this. 17.47% of the float shorted with 8.51 days to cover. That, I think, is significant enough. On average, it trades 2.7 million shares. It's done 1.45 today. Float here, though, above 100 million. So, 13, you think anything about this news, the chart, or the stock?
I like the chart. If you look at a daily chart and you start with the beginning of this year, where for some reason this thing actually, blasted off. Actually, it was more towards the end of last year, but it blasts off and went all the way up to 1740 or some digit up there. But we've created a trend line since then. So if you go to a daily chart and you look at what happened at as long as you have like a full year on your screen for a chart, you can see the trend line.
Here it is. Bang, bang,
and look
bang.
at where it takes us. Look at how close we are to breaking that. Now, a couple of nice things that I see here. One, we have cleared the 50-day SMA. So let's see if we hold above that. I was really liking when I was just first saw this. I was really liking how we were getting some pretty decent support from the 500-day SMA. That kind of created a double bottom situation this year. So with the recapture of the 50-day SMA, we're going to want to see that as support now. We are at a pretty interesting area where we're caught between some support and resistance. You can see that the area from March up until May, that's, we're above that now, but we're coming up to this, I guess, kind of it looked like an island, but kind of an area here where the price, rounded out, and we're at the bottom. We're kind of at the bottom of that rounding out that occurred from May to July. So a little bit of a tough area that it's coming into right now. We do have the 200-day SMA above the price, not even 30 cents away, I think. So maybe we do get a break out of this and we run into that 200-day SMA as resistance. But if we keep going, then we can look at some other levels. I mean, 10 stands out as well, as does 11. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's get a break over this trend line. Let's have a test of that 200-day SMA, and we'll see what we get out of that.
Okay. All right. Sounds really good. Did you have anything else on your list that you wanted to cover?
No.
SMX, this is popping here. Someone mentioned this maybe yesterday, maybe today, unsure, but SMX, this is popping here. 210's your high. It came back in. It's SMX to deploy FDA compliant molecular marking in food grade plastics. Okay.
Huh. Okay. I don't know how to what to think about that. I mean, okay. So for plastic waste, I guess I would have to, read more into this and find out exactly what this is. I mean, is this going to make it more biodegradable or safer to transport food? I guess I have more questions than answers at this point, so I really can't give any opinion on this.
Okay.
But let's look at the chart because I think I could give a better opinion on that. Oh, geez. Yeah, I probably don't want to touch this one while it's falling like it is. If it does find support, it might be coming down to 165.
It's coming down right now.
Yep.
Yes, Funky Cold Stock says, is it just me or has it been somewhat quiet week for the low float runners? It's not just you. It absolutely has been a quiet week. Thankfully, we've been able to find opportunity elsewhere. Mm-hmm. We'll see what happens here today, but we're always looking for opportunity. I think the craziest stuff was the quantum stuff earlier. It's like drone stuff is moving too. So, but no, Funky Cold Stocks, it's not just you. You're good.
Yeah, and we talked in Happy Hour earlier this week about some of these leverage ETFs or these directional ETFs and these individual names that could be a really good short plays or short ideas, like shorting what was one of them. I know Palantir, that ETF that they have, that would be a good one. There was another one too, I can't think of it, but I also noticed that Rigetti has a 2X ETF that has gone parabolic. And we had another breakout today. So, once this theme starts to come back, and this could be another good one to short. This has been on a huge move. It's the ticker is RGTX.
That's the RGTX. Boop,
yeah,
boop.
that's had a big.
Oh my!
Look at the daily. Crazy stuff.
Oh my heavens!
Yeah, so that could be a good short one day once the market starts to really come in. Once we actually get an actual sell-off, not something that's just going to get bought up.
Not a dip for ants.
Right. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Oh, producer, that was so good. Okay. Let's see. We've got 2 minutes. I don't. What do you want to do here? I kind of want to run to the washroom. Can I put up a stock and run to the washroom before the open?
Yeah. What do you guys want to see? And we'll talk about it while he goes.
John Redmond is saying that there's an upgrade there in Carrier, ticker CARR. I guess we can start there. It does not look like the stock is responding to that, to be quite honest with you. I don't even see an upgrade here.
Yeah, this one still looks like it could go down some more. I'd be watching for what happens when it tries to test that 20-day SMA.
Where's the buy recommendation, John? I don't see it. Maybe I just don't have it yet, but let me know where that's at.
And we have less than a minute left.
Yeah, we do. All right, I'm going to leave this up. BRB, run 1 sec, 13.
Okay. Well, he's gone. Anything else do folks want to look at here? Vaughn, you're mentioning UNH. I'll take a look at UNH. And Samel, you want to look at Reddit? Is that thing finally coming back in? That has had quite a move. And we are going to, okay, so we still have 20 seconds left. United Health. This looks like we're trying to still continue to fill that gap. We're getting continuing to get some pretty good support from that 20-day SMA. We need to clear that 362 level that we were hitting last month. That provided some resistance. So we're still making our way back up to that. Need to see some good volume to take us beyond that level, and we should continue our gap fill. Here we are open, folks. Good luck, everybody. All right, let's see what we get here out of the gate. Waiting to see if we get anything out of Ovid. We're going to get that formation that we were looking at. We go higher. It's up right now, so a little concerning about that. XELB caught between the 65 and 200 EMAs right now. Kind of riding VWAP. Need to see some volume in this. I don't see any volume in some of these names yet. DFLI. This one might have a little bit of volume getting into it right now. Trying to see if we can get up to that 164 level. That was the high from the pre-market here. So hopefully we end up getting that.
Which one?
That was DFLI. We were looking. That's pretty much the one that seems to be getting the most movement right now. The other ones, oh nope, I'm sorry, ASTC. This is starting to go too. This is really getting some movement. 787 is the high from the pre-market, and we are approaching that 7 handle. We're through it.
Oh man, ASTC. Yeah, good call here. So missed this one. Obviously, it was that 650 break that really sent it.
Mm-hmm.
What a move! This is going to halt.
All right.
No, it pulled off the spot. I'm just saying it was moving on some pretty big volume there, pulling back a little bit.
QCLS also had a nice pop out of the gate that brought it up to 645. So we cleared that at 630. What is it? 631 high that it made at the pre-market open. Still looking for the 687 area. And
okay.
So Kodiak, yeah, this is really. Ooh,
that was KDK, right?
Yeah, this is the one I was not sure about, didn't really like, and now it's really coming back in. So
yep.
Hopefully nobody got hurt in that one. Ovid not getting that resolution that we were looking for with that we saw with DFLI, not able to hold above VWAP. DFLI, by the way, whipping around too.
UMAC, this is punching higher here. Looks like it peaked above, tried to go to 17. Several of you mentioning Ondas here. This had a little bit of a ramp there, pretty much knifed back down to the pre-market area and is bouncing. Good to see. Plug, which is another one that we talked about earlier, ripping out of the gate here. Plug to those levels. I actually didn't mark those off on my chart. I can't remember what they were.
XLB hitting VWAP and the 65 EMA.
That's XELB?
Sorry, yeah, XELB. Yep, that's it. Looks like ASTC is trying to continue to push higher. We're getting a little bit of a backing off now, but it is trying to hold above VWAP. Looks like DFLI still kind of whipping around back and forth, waiting for that to choose a direction.
This XELB. So it's right now battling, what is this? The 65. Yeah, battling the 65 EMA. I've got that at 239. Yeah, Jonathan, good reminder there. Plug 32% short. So that might be the fuel for driving this here.
Pull plug back up. There we go.
There we go. Sorry. God bless it. XELB. This trading back up to the VWAP. Got the VWAP there at 248. No trade in this. I'm not in this one. But this actually looking pretty decent here. See if that gets to VWAP. That's your first resistance spot.
Yeah, I got this one trading above my VWAP right now, but I think 245 is going to be one of the next resistance areas. And then after that, it looks like there's an even thicker resistance at 255. There was a bit of a support shelf there. Earlier this in the pre-market that we'd lost at looks like 6 a.m. this morning and could not recapture. So I think that 250, 255 area is going to be pretty important to recapture.
Okay.
DFLI, on the other hand, is trying to make its way up to this 164 high from this morning. Looking okay, but we need to see this continuation of volume. ASTC, these three are kind of looking at, they have my attention right now, so sorry if I keep cycling between them. But
it's okay.
ASTC, XIII, and DFLI, looking like they're providing some of the better moves. And there we go, DFLI starting to approach that 164, looking good. Let's see a bit of a breakout if we can.
Yeah, that was nice. RZLV, multiple people mentioning that. Good morning, the whole 9 yards. Good to see you again.
RZLV, Resolve AI.
Yep, that has very similar formation to DFLI there, as it just took out that pre-market high and pushing higher here now.
Fantastic. So with RZLV, if you look at a daily chart, we are coming up to a resistance area around 745.
Yep.
We managed to get through that. We're going to be on the way to 845, which is the high from the September 16th. That's what we want to take out. Not sure if we'll get that today, but if we do, we could see some really nice price action.
Okay, you guys are also, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
You guys are also mentioning Cypher Mining, ticker CIFR. Oops, I'm on a daily chart. Here's your 5-minute chart. Big rip out of the gate. I don't see a setup there. Trimmed some Ondas calls on that bounce back up. Bang, bang, bang.
DFLI, great stuff here. We did manage to get above that 164 high just briefly, but we come back in now to test that previous resistance level of support that we're trying to get through. And we have VWAP right beneath that. So if we get support there, we could see a turnaround that takes us up to 164. But if not, probably have to wait a little bit longer for that recovery.
Love seeing this as a car guy here. Glenn says, Ondas, baby. Mommy wants a new vet. Stingray? Can I get a ride? Let's go.
QCLS starting to get a little life here now after opening up to a little back and forth. 645, the current high of the regular session, that does beat out the pre-market high that we were trying to get over here at the open. Still looking for 687 beyond that 645 high there.
Real quick here, we did get results from that poll. Are you de-risking your portfolio? That was the question. 48% of you said no. 26% of you said yes because of the current climate, and 26% of you said yes, but I had planned to anyway. So pretty split there, actually. That's a pretty impressive poll there. Good participation in that poll. Thank you, producer, for getting that together, and thank you, chat, for participating.
I sold and bought some stuff just to move things around.
Yeah.
Raise some capital. I'm not de-risking. I'm just preparing.
Yeah, so neither am I. That's a really good way. Maybe I should have added that. I'm not de-risking either. I would say I'm rotating. By the way, I told you just sold to close on some Ondas calls there to book some gains. Also, BTO on ETHA. We're going to try the McRib trade here. We're going to play a proxy. We're going to play Ethereum on the hopes that it trades up with Bitcoin if it does go with the McRib there. I started really kind of a smaller starter position here. The ticker is ETHA. The calls are the December 40 calls, paid $260 for those calls. So long a starter there, ETHA.
Plug hit a high of 36, and it's starting to put in some concerning wicks here on the top of these candles. But we are above VWAP, and we are above the I think this is above the pre-market high. Yeah, we are. So could still potentially go higher, but I think I'd be really keeping an eye on what these next two candles do, because I think it's starting to indicate that we might come back in a little bit here. Go ahead.
Kathy, really good call here. CIFR. If we back out, look where we went to. We are right at that resistance area. If you wanted to mark off some other levels here with the tops of these candles, I would get it. But Kathy, this was a great mention earlier. Absolutely, we are at a resistance level. This would mark one of the first spots maybe to book some of the gains on that trade.
What's interesting is we kind of missed this because we weren't looking at it, but If you look at the price action, let's see. Okay, so you can see the trend line in that. If you look at on the 1st of October, take the high from the 1st of October, draw it through the high from yesterday, and look at this breakout that we just got. Now that's going to be, and now we've also back tested this trend line once already. So this is going to be a support level, I think, if the price comes back in.
Did I get this right here?
From October 1st to October 2nd to today. So you have it only from yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. So you're talking about this.
Yeah.
And then you're talking about this. Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
This, yeah, it looks a little different than what I've got. But yeah, more or less, that's pretty much the breakout that I'm looking at.
Okay. Good deal. Let's roll through them.
And 1554 is the high to break. And if you look at 1550, there's a large seller in the way. So we would be hitting, hold on a second, let me just double check and make sure I'm right. We would be hitting all-time highs because we are at the highs, at the all-time highs now, not just from yesterday, but from 2021. Nice complete round trip, nice, good, big looking cup. So if you have like a weekly or a monthly chart, you can see that we are now just breaking or getting close to breaking out into blue sky territory.
Okay. Good stuff. ANRO. This is a nice move through the VWAP there on some decent volume. Let's go. Webcoin. Nice.
XIIB. I think it's starting to go here a little bit. We're looking for that 250 area, I think. We're getting some nice movement out of that one. So, ASTC says the whole 9 yards. ANRO Payday says Webcoin. Hood is about to break 150. That's the other one. Hood's going to be a great short one day.
Yeah, it sure is. Here it is, though. So far, this thing has been a monster.
Look at G Pro.
Oh, my. Tuna is going to dance on the table, dude. He called this yesterday.
Yep.
Tuna, dude. Here. This is...
Oh, man.
That's just too good.
Early fish gets the hook. So Archer is also getting mentioned here by the Gunner SD. And you know what? I think I saw some news about this earlier today or yesterday about how they completed a test flight. Let me see if that's what we're getting here. Okay. So so there's news about them going to be flying at a California air show this weekend.
Is this which one is this?
Archer.
ACHR. Got it.
Yeah, they there's an air show in Salinas, California, from October 4th to 5th that they will be there at. I could have sworn I saw some kind of news about them about some kind of test flight that they did earlier, but maybe that was old news. I don't know. But they did have some pretty interesting PRs in the past week, so maybe we're seeing the result of that. Now back over $10, 1070, 1071. Here we go. I know, Perry. I make up a lot of catchphrases,
and we are here for it. We are absolutely here for it.
All right, let's see what we got going on here now. So now we're starting to see some of these names come back in. Resolve AI coming back in, losing VWAP in the process. Plug also pulling a little bit. We were trading that's just coming back in. Ovid, that's lower. ASTC just hit that 790 high. I think that was just a little bit more than what we were getting at 710 this morning. Not sure about these other shadows. Be careful with that one. XIIB, this is still trying to push higher. 250 is the current high, it looks like.
Yeah, I've got the VWAP here, 247, which this is butting against right now. No position on XIIB, but I am watching it here.
Now with DFLI, we did hit that pre-market high, a little bit higher than that, and then we sold off. We want to, if this is going to be another trade in this, we're going to want to see this thing find support pretty soon. We might get a little bit of a cup with handle formation. So that would be, I think, the best case scenario we can hope for here with DFLI. We do start to see some support kick in here pretty soon. Otherwise, this is likely going to come back in, and maybe we'll see some better support down at 125.
Okay, we'll see there on DFLI. Buru Penny being mentioned here by Tuna. ANRO, this was the web coin. This thing went higher, rejected at 6. QMCO, this was a quantum play. This 1250 now.
I'm sorry to bring it up, Ryan. I know I mentioned to you yesterday, but Redwire is having another good day.
Why would you be sorry about that?
Because I think you kind of alluded that it felt like chasing if you were going to get it here. At least that's what I was getting from when I was talking to you. And to be honest, I'm not sure about this formation that we're kind of getting today either. Don't want this to turn into a bearish abandoned baby formation.
Yeah, with abandoned baby, no bueno on abandoned baby right there.
No, that's horrible. So it is encouraging that we are above the 50-day SMA with this one. So maybe there is going to be some coming back in because it's not really extended. We'll see what we end up getting here. I would love to see this gap fill, though. That gap's going to start just a little bit beyond 11, goes all the way up to 1370.
Tuna, I might have just made a mistake there. I just saw someone mention Buru in the chat. I don't think it's delayed. You can always refresh it, though. But here it is, folks. It happened. Ondus Roads, take me home. We have 10 prints. We are double digits here. What a massive, massive move from 70 cents when we first talked about it. I sat here and told you, folks, I am not going to sell some of this until we get to 10. That's one of my targets. And here we are, market down October 3rd. Market down, dude. Market zero.
Markets. Can I ask you, is this the biggest trade that you've had? Because you're talking like what, a 13x, 14x here?
Yeah. Well, okay. So I will say that a majority of my size, because I had to double this position up when we ran to 3 and went all the way back to 50 cents, majority of my size was to protect my capital, and we sold some of that. Remember, a little bit at 150, then 350, 425, and 550. So a lot of the profit taking to free up the capital and book gains, which is what I advise everyone do on these trades to scale out. Some of that has already happened, but still holding a good amount here for this big run to double digits, and we got it here today. Ondus now 1025, your day high. Just. It's awesome. It is awesome. Is this the biggest trade ever? No, because I consider the Apple trade. I spoke briefly about an Apple trade that I made. It wasn't using all of my money. It was using some of my mom's, and it was so most of that was for her. That trade is up over 6 figures. So we're not quite there. We are almost there, but this is, we needed this. We needed this, and it was a big one. So giddy up.
Just looking at something. Sorry.
XELB, this did go through the VWAP there. 247 was that VWAP launch. I've got 266 as the intraday high print there.
All right. D Pro, new highs. 1144 now. Plug might be setting up to go higher. It's holding up VWAP, but I need to see some better volume than this. Looks like Kodiak is trying to recover after hitting the 200 EMA, but it's approaching resistance up at 770. So I'd be a little concerned about how much higher this can really go. It still doesn't look like it has the greatest chart. Ovid hasn't really done anything except go sideways, and it looks like it could even go lower. ASTC, this is holding up VWAP. We did already get an 801 print. It looks like it's trying to push back up to that $8 area again. This one also does need to see some better volume. DFLI, after hitting that pre-market high, this thing is just rolling over. Still waiting for it to see if we get some kind of a cup with handle formation, but the lower this goes, the less likely that seems. Here we go with Plug Power, looking for that 360 high again. Lots of sellers in the wave between here and then that 360 level. And then there's a large number of sellers every 5 cents from here up.
Okay. XELB pulling back to the VWAP. It's right at it right here. Dip Buyer says, great payday Friday. Now it's time for great football this weekend. See you all on Monday. Thank you, 13 and Ryan. Thank you, Dip Buyer. enjoy your weekend, enjoy the sports, enjoy your friends and family. Really good stuff, good vibes all around, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
Oh yeah, good mention on bull. Let's see, that was mentioned by Crocodile Dumb Me. That thing is on the move. Looking for 15. I think we already hit it once this morning, maybe just slightly under it, but we are having a nice move up. So okay, so 1494 was the high, and you know what? This is hitting that trend line that we drew from earlier this. I don't know if it was this week or this month or last month or what, but this trend line starts from July 24th, goes to the high of August 18th, and we already tried to get above it once. We did actually successfully get above it at the end of September, but we came right back in. Now we're trying to break above it again. We'll see if we get this breakout or not. And I'm not sure about CIFR right now. This thing is having a hard time going beyond 1546. Not DPRO though. DPRO.
I was doing that because Vladi Divac, one of the only members here to tell me to ring the register on my own trade. I can't remember the last time somebody told me to do that. Vladi Divac, I appreciate you. And we just did that. Bang.
I need to see plug power volume, power through this 360 area. Not sure if we're going to get that. Looks like it's still kind of just consolidating here.
ANRO, Mo saying bye-bye ANRO. Let me take a look at that. That was a mover we took a look at earlier, right? That was from tennis. Yeah, so this did have that huge power move pulling back, but look, it's right at VWAP here. 550 is your VWAP there, ANRO.
Yeah, and that what is that? The pre-market high. So that's that could be a support area, 550. That area right there. And if it does provide support, then we might be able to go on a little bit more of a run than 617. I don't know how much more we'll get after that, though. We do need to recapture that VWAP with this candle or the next one. Otherwise, we risk a rollover here.
Here's LAC, by the way, this right at some of our lines. Remember, the day that this gapped up here, we had a range where we wanted to see if it break and back tested it. Took a while, so we actually didn't trade it. Now we're at the top end of the range. LAC here at some considerable resistance. Let's watch and see what it does. Maybe even a pop above this and a back test of this line allows for a swing long here.
I'm looking at a weekly chart for Lithium Americas now, and the next area where I think there's any question of resistance is going to be, just shy of 9, but I think a little bit above 865. So between 865 and 9, I'm just looking at a weekly, so I don't know exactly where it is, but it seems like it's right about in there. Maybe 880. Maybe 880 could be the next resistance area. Okay. Beyond that, then you have I have 1020, and then the all-time high of 1241. It looks like this thing is really, really coming back up to visit those all-time highs, but can't ignore the fact that this thing really does need to kind of cool off first. Maybe we do get a little bit of a cooling off, some support down at some lower prices from here, and then we manage to break through 10.
Let's see. Let's watch a back test here of 8 on LAC. Sean Kawai asking, is that the real Vladi Divac? Here's what I'll say, Sean. He's been joining the happy hour for several years, and I've just been pretending to myself that he is. As somebody that grew up loving basketball in the 90s because of Jordan, I'm very familiar with Vladi Divac, and it's one of the best names in the Benzinga platform for anybody. I just pretend that it is. You take that for whatever it's worth, buddy.
Bull with more moves now, and now into 15 handle. Still waiting to see if we get a turnaround here with ANRO. Lithium Americas also still running into new session highs. Cypher, God, I don't know if we're going to go higher or lower with this one quite yet. The volume is really starting to drop off of this one. Same thing with Plug Power. It kind of has a similar setup. I mean, it's very, very eerie how close Cypher and Plug look with their charts. Like they're almost identical with today's price action. That's crazy, actually. 2 green candles out of the gate for both, 1 red candle, and now they both have 2 green candles. What? All right.
Matthew here. I'm confused how my average on Rocket nearly doubled overnight, but the number of shares stayed the same. Can I get some insight on how that happens? Robinhood has been no help. I have no idea what happened to your account, Matthew. I am shocked that Robinhood can't help you. That is what I would advise. I would advise to call your broker and explain what happened. All right. I'm surprised that they're not going to help you. I don't know what to say. If anyone else has a suggestion for our teammate Matthew here, please let us know. I don't have anything for you. Sean Kawhi says Vlade Divac greater than Jordan. Sean, you are on thin ice right now, my man. That is an entirely false statement of misinformation. And you are on thin ice. I'm just kidding, of course, but all good. All good.
I guess Matthew, if there's, and you say that the shares that you have didn't change, so I don't know why your average cost.
I was going to say something there doesn't add up. I understand your concern. I just don't know what the answer is.
Yeah, that's something that the broker needs to tell you because they're the one that did it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And if one teammate isn't a help there, ask to have that escalated. I mean, that's your money.
Absolutely.
That's your money.
Go get him, dude.
This EPSM, wasn't this one of those crazy runners that we had on that day where there was just a bunch of that stuff? Yeah.
You mean like that day there?
Yep, that's it. So okay, so we know what this thing can do, not promising that it's going to do that. Look where it stopped, folks. Previous high. Stopped right there at the previous high. I don't know. This EPSM, I didn't trade it the last day this thing went ham. Maybe it sets up again. I wouldn't chase the move. I would wait for a tactical entry spot there.
And tennis, man, V-Pro, oh my God, is right. But you know what? If we do get through 12 here, we are coming up to some resistance at 1250 to 13. So that area right there could be a little bit of a tough spot. This is actually, 1250 was actually a support area going back to November of 22. And we had a big rebound off that level and didn't revisit that, the 1250 area until December of the next year. And once it came down and tested out as support, we lost it and it became some pretty tough resistance. We haven't been up here in this area since December of 2023.
Lion, take care of yourself. Sergeant Sexy saying the wash sale. Isn't that only for taxes? Isn't that only at the tax implications? Doesn't adjust your positions, does it?
The wash sale rule? No.
Yeah.
No.
I was going to say that's one of the things being floated here by the chat. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to pretend like I'm an authority on this because I don't know. If I knew, I would tell you, but I don't.
That's not going to change your cost average on a stock.
I didn't think so.
No, that only applies to how you're being taxed.
Right. SNES, if this is a penny stock, I'm going to be upset. It's not.
We know SNES.
Yeah, I can't remember where it was and where it went to. Here's what SNES is. This is, let me find who was asking about this. Progressive G, can you look at it? Does it look oversold? Does SNES look oversold to you? Actually, it looks like it just lost a support level, no? Yeah.
To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if this went lower. This looks pretty bearish to me. Just look at the daily chart and it kind of looks like you have a little bit of a head and shoulders pattern happening here, and I don't think this is resolved completely yet. You do have some support, it looks like, at about 385, where we were. It looks like it got some of that from yesterday. But I think you're going to get the 200-day SMA test happening at some point here soon. Now, the RSI is just under 37, so it is on a lower end, but I don't think that's so low that it couldn't go lower. I think this is going to still continue lower. But 350 looks like a better support area.
Okay, good stuff there. Yes, Tuna, technically you're right. Ondus did move to penny territory more than once, by the way. It is worth noting, though, and I've mentioned this many times, my first buys on that, my first ever buy was when Ondus was in a 9 handle. Now we've seen the circle is now complete here as we go past 10, but there was a lot of other research conversations and phone calls that took place in order to trade that. But technically, you're not wrong.
There's that move in ANRO. We captured that VWAP. We were just wanting to see that hold. I think it was like the 550, 555 area. The highs from the pre-market. We ended up getting that. Now we're printing newer highs, and at the pretty nice pattern here, the bar hold formation. One green candle, 3 red candles.
Look at this.
Downside, and then a breakout. So nice price action here with this one.
Yeah.
Let me see where this ends up going. So we are still in the process of, okay, so we broke beyond the 65 EMA. That's pretty big because that's been a resistance area, 65-week EMA. Actually, that's really interesting. This might have some more room to go if we close above this. So I'm looking at this the weekly chart on this, and it just is moving over the 65 EMA. Now, we have a whole bunch of day left, so we need to see this thing finish the day above it if we're going to remain bullish on this. But ANRO, really, really interesting technical moves here happening. And if we close above the 65-week EMA, we may end up going up to 8 next week.
Okay, good stuff. ANRO. Perfect flag. Measure was the pole. Good stuff, Webcoin.
Yeah, that was a great looking flag there. So yeah, the measure was the. I still like the entry as being the high from the pre-market. That really was an excellent spot because on that third red candle, you would have got that fill, and then it would have been off.
And it would have been VWAP lined up with that too, dude.
It would have been a completely on. You would have had a nice, what is this, $1.10 move out of that. Absolutely fantastic.
The 3 stocks at the top of the list here are penny stocks. BNAI, which is below its VWAP. CHR, which got asked about earlier, it's 17-cent penny stock that looks like it's in real terrible trouble. And it was also Buru, B-U-R-U. These are your 3 penny stocks. Actually, of these charts, Buru looks the best. Looks like 35 coming here. I'm going to avoid all of these, however.
Yeah, you might get burned by Buru.
Aunt Buru.
Thank you so much. All right, so now I was just while you were mentioning that about how some of these all the penny stocks are running, I decided, well, let's take a look at the IWM and see how that's doing this morning. It looks like we may have printed a new all-time high, 247.29. It looks like that is a new all-time high by 11 cents. So congratulations. I would still like to see this thing go on a bigger run, but I feel like the pullback has already happened. I want to see. I'd like to see prints above 250 soon. To be honest.
Okay.
I don't know if I'll get it, but that's what I'd like to see.
KDK, this was mentioned earlier. This is that Kodiak AI. This did bounce off of its 200 EMA down at 1717, or excuse me, 717. I beg your pardon.
We just talked about a bull flag. This looks more like a bear flag to me. So for getting this rejection at VWAP, that's going to seemingly take this down towards the lows of this regular session. And I think we'll end up falling through them. Next support area could be down at $7 even. That's based on all this sideways price action we were getting following the upward move that we got out of the gate yesterday. So I've just been sideways for hours after that, and that's where the support appears to be now.
Okay. AMTX, no, Kathy, we did not cover that one here today. AMTX is on the scanner as well. This thing is just a ramp. It looks like the volume is now finally turned to selling volume. I think I'd like for this to come into the VWAP, Kath. What do you think?
It is at a bit of a resistance area if you look at the daily chart. This is the high that it made today is about the high from August, the last time the price was up this high.
Yep.
And that was also met with resistance because it seems like all the sellers from earlier this year in like July still trying to get out of this thing. So you might have a bunch of bag holders from all the July price action trying to exit. And it may be a bit of a slog trying to get through that until about the 360s.
Look at the trend line on this from that July high. We actually just kind of back tested it when we went sideways through it. Now we're starting to push away from it. That to me does look like a trend break.
Nice springboard price action there. ANRO still climbing. Still climbing. And I think, did we end up getting to that level yet? No, not quite. Seems like several things are getting pretty weak pretty quick here. Ooh.
Rocket did pull back a little bit. Netflix, by the way, 1155. I know we were waiting for that 1100 on Netflix.
You see where that's at now.
Real quickly here, Sideshow saying Ondas just gave everything back. That's why we trim. That's why we trim and book gains. Archer pulling.
Yeah, a lot of folks I don't know are going to want to really be holding a lot of these movers into the weekend. I mean, is there anything you'd want to hold into the weekend, Ryan?
Well, I mean, you mean like none of this new stuff? I mean, I'm obviously going to keep some of my long-term positions and swing positions in.
I guess let me rephrase that. Anything that you're buying today or this week that you'd hold into the weekend?
Yes, I opened up a starter position on ETHA, the Ethereum ETF, on the McRib, the McRib release. That I am holding. Those were as a reminder, those were the December contracts. So we've got 77 days to expiry on that. So yes, that's the only position though. I'm trying to think. I'm looking at my statement here. There's nothing else that I bought this week. Nothing else that I bought this week that I'm holding. Everything else has been day trades, which I'm obviously all out of, and I've actually trimmed some of my swings into this strength.
Yeah, Netflix. I think this is going to come to the 200-day SMA eventually.
That's what we're waiting for.
Yeah, it may not, do it right away, or I think we could see it this month. There's plenty of time left for it to do that, but this thing, I think, needs to go lower, and it probably will. Costco too. Still waiting for that to go down to 875. Yep, that looks like that's where it's headed, slowly but surely. Tesla huge pull. What's going on with Tesla?
It actually broke the lows from yesterday. So I think that pull is significant. If I'm just looking at this chart here, let me back out a little bit more. We'll see if there's any near-term spots where this thing might go to. Looks like we're actually testing the low print from Tuesday, September 30th. I would say under that, you're probably looking at 416.
That's a bearish engulfing candle yesterday. That's a really
throw that on the daily.
I certainly think the 20-day SMA is going to get visited.
Oh yeah, that is absolutely a bearish engulfing candle there. A little bit more extension here. Jonathan saying dip buy. Jonathan, what's your level there?
I think there might be a dip buy, but I think it's going to be lower than from here.
Yeah, I think this 423 to 425 area doesn't look terrible here for Tesla. I am seeing a mixture here on the unusual options. You're getting both calls and puts crossing the wire here today. Danielle mentioning Palantir big pull. Either you said that earlier or somebody else did. We didn't go to it, but it's worth mentioning here now that we're looking at Tesla. This did pull back to that 15 EMA. I've got that at 177.93. Palantir. What do you think? Do you think this is a double top here at 189, 190?
I was just looking at that and thinking to myself, is it? It could be. But let's look at both the highs from the peak. So August 12th, that high was exactly 190. Interesting. And the most recent high that we had here from this other side is 188.20. So we're about $1.80 shy, but it's still pretty close, especially when we consider that the stock is like $180. I think you already know that we're looking at this thing to come in because it's so overvalued. But is this going to be the day that it starts, or is this going to be just another dip to buy? I really can't say. Yeah,
and I mean we're kind of at a level right now. I feel like maybe you could get. Yeah, maybe a little bit more down to 170 on Pel. Where's Bharat? Bharat has been tracking some of these like crazy. You guys are just freaking out over UNH. I'm going to move away from Palantir.
Palantir had some bad news today. Anduril and Palantir battlefield communication system has deep flaws, Army memo says.
Yeah, that was per Reuters.
That's not good. Because the whole thing for Palantir is how so much better their systems are, and I mean this is not the thing you want to see. You know what?
PLTZ?
Yeah, is that the downside one?
I think so.
Yes, 2x short.
2x short. So this
You know
might be
what?
your trade if you think there's more carry through on that. Look at the ramp on this today.
Jeez. I'm thinking. I'm really thinking.
NASDAQ, by the way, at lows, pounding them. SPY did roll over, but it's not the same as the NASDAQ. NASDAQ lows. Dow at highs. And Albert, you did mention a short on TSLL. I guess you could also use the 2X Bear ETF if you wanted to long that. But to your point here about TSLL, this is also a pullback here with that Tesla move down.
Yeah. And I think when it comes to PLTZ, given that this parabolic move it's had out of the gate, I think I'd wait for a better entry. I just don't know if I'm going to get it. I think we will, but it's really hard to justify buying it up here, even though I think this move is just getting started. If we are going to get this weakness in Palantir and all these super high PE names.
Mike, good morning. Mike. How are you here? How you doing here? You're trading Palantir. What's up, brother? And then here, UNH. I know you guys wanted to get to that. That thing was flying, you said earlier. We're in the gap in UNH, by the way. Yep, 361. So here's your intraday chart. Nice little dip and rip there. If we go to the daily, yeah, we are above. Looks like we're going to try and fill that gap up to 380s. Only 20 points to go. UNH. Good stuff here from our group again on UNH.
Nice. Hey, Mike, how you doing? He's trading PLTD.
Now that's the 1X to the downside, right? PLTD, or is that a different? Yeah,
no, it's 1X.
1X. LAC pushing to 9, so no chill there, huh?
Yeah, 882, the current high. Big seller in the way at 890. 890 is, got the seller, so careful there. Now I'm starting to wonder if ANRO is setting up to make the next take the next move up. Getting a very similar formation here. We're still above VWAP. Volume just isn't as great. So if not this candle, the next one, I think I'd want to see that take go to new highs of the regular session. Otherwise, this is probably going to come in lower. PLT.
Dara says, I'm finally in the green with UNH. Your patience is paying off. Remember, we spell that PAYTIENCE around here. AMAT, Melly, CrowdStrike, and Palantir, all NASDAQ 100 laggards. Palantir, your biggest of the day on the back of that news report we just talked about.
So Palantir with that kind of news. And then how long do you think it'll be before the government shutdown starts affecting that stock?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I gotta think that's probably going to be the longer than the 30-day time frame. That would be my best guess right now. How about you?
Maybe 2 weeks.
Okay, so a little bit shorter then. Okay.
Maybe. Yeah, and I say that with a big maybe. It's just that, we talked about this already in Happy Hour about how, a week of shutdown, 2 weeks of shutdown, probably not going to have a real big effect on economic growth. The longer it goes on, the more hardships are going to arise. And if this thing goes on for 35 days like it did last time, that could be a big problem. So I think we're okay at the moment, but later on. UNH, what is the 2-time leverage symbol?
Does it have one? Have we ever looked at that before?
I don't think so.
Let me see here. Let me see if I can find that, Izzy. That's a good question. Does UNH have those ETFs? Let me look. UNH ETFs, levered ETFs, right? That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
There's so many now that it's yes, UNHG is your 2X levered long. UNHG.
So you'd have to short that one if that's all there is.
Well, that might here. Let me see if I can find some more.
I don't think there is.
Yeah, I think it's just that UNHG.
Yeah, you'd have to short that. And I think that's the same situation with Hood. You'd have to short their their leveraged ETFs as well, because they don't have it. I don't think they have a downside one.
Biotech. This thing is gapping and halting and ripping. It's just open now. It's coming back in. I have no idea what's going on here. I think Tennis mentioned this earlier. We don't have any news here. Nope, no news. Just the circuit breaker entries there. Man, NNN. I don't know what this is.
It's
what
a it's a biotech company. There's kind of a, I can't really pronounce it that well. Chikungunya. That disease has been kind of getting an outbreak in Asia. This makes a rapid test for that.
Okay.
I don't know what this is moving on. Maybe there's some news coming that we just haven't seen yet about I don't know, maybe a clinical trial, but I don't know what's causing this to move. But that's what this does for biotech.
Supri, you wanted to take a look at Open. Here it is. Nice big pump there on Open. Looks like 870 was your high. We did pull back to VWAP, and that actually gave a bounce. Looks like the bounce is stalling here. This might set up a trend that we would have to break in order to move higher. Do a quick check on the short interest on Open, because that has been part of the story here for this trade. 23.56%. This is a 3% tick down from the prior read. So if some of those shorts, it looks like we're forced to cover. Days to cover here still 1. So not sure how squeezy it's going to be with the 640 mil float, but nice 6% move here in Open. And I didn't see any news there. Did I just glance and miss it?
Open has a pretty, I'm going to mark this level off actually. 730 looks to be a pretty interesting support area from right here, just based on the price action we've been getting over the past month or so. So just kind of put that out there, see if that acts as support. What I think I need to see here is recapture this 20-day SMA. We're currently trading above it right now, but that value is at 840. And if we don't close above it today, I'd be looking at this 730 level to provide support next.
Okay. Smoke Tuna saying that disease that you were talking about is spreading in France as well.
Okay. So I didn't know that about that news. So appreciate that. So maybe there's another pandemic, not to the COVID levels, but could be something that causes a scare. John being asked about thoughts on Micron with the NLST news. I'll get to that in a second. And then Tennis's Live asking about USAR. We did look at USAR earlier this morning. I'll come back around to that one, but let me take a look at Micron here.
Micron here higher, dude.
Was this news this morning? Is that what okay. Yeah, because you're asking specifically about NLST. I don't have any opinion on that because I don't think I've read into that enough.
NLST net list. This is an OTC stock.
Okay. I mean, like I said, I don't have an opinion on that because I don't know enough about what's going on with that. But I'll just look at the chart and I'll tell you right now that this thing is still really extended. Maybe we do hit 200 before we turn around here, but I feel like this is going to come back in pretty soon. It needs to cool off. It really does. Maybe it comes down, get some support around 170, somewhere around there. That would, in my mind, be kind of ideal if it came down at least that much, and then we could go higher after that. That'd be better. But from here, the higher this thing goes, the more the worse the fall is going to be.
LAC looks like 9 prints are coming here.
Yep. LAC, AMTX trying to push up to that 287 level again. Cypher, this trying to recapture BWAP. D-Pro not having a good day after hitting 1212.
RCAT, more highs here. Needham initiated coverage on the stock with a $17 target. RCAT straight up out of the gate, came back to VWAP. More new highs here, 1420 on RCAT. And SanDisk is up another 9%.
Oh, look at this.
My gosh.
Do you have a trend line drawn for RCAT?
I might. We look at that one quite a bit. Let me go back to it real fast. Yeah, I do. I think I see it here in the intraday. Yeah.
Look at that.
It's just so great. It's
Yeah.
it's like hang it in the Louvre.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's artwork.
When did you draw this?
Probably right here when we started pulling back on July. What is that? July 18th and Monday, July 21st is probably around that time.
Hilarious. So breaking this trend line kind of looks good to me. I think we see a 1520 test at some point. I don't know about today. Maybe today, but it seems like later on is more likely. I think this will end up seeing new highs in the not too distant future. I mean, just look at the price action we've been getting over the past 18 months. It's been really, really nice, and it's setting up really nicely to go higher into the 15 handle. So really do like the way this looks. Now, if I look to the left here, because that's where all our resistance is gonna be after we get above 1520. It looks like there is going to be some pretty tough resistance as we get into 16 and 17, and it only gets heavier from there. As a matter of fact, as we get up to, I mean, I'm not saying that we're going to see 30 anytime soon, but once we get up into that area, really, really heavy amounts of supply.
Good stuff there. RCAT. Smoke Tuna saying LAC will see 10. That continues to go. AIFF is ready. Do we have a setup? So this actually, VWAP there, 307.
Is Moonlake Therapeutics like UNH? I would probably say not even close.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
One's a health insurance provider, and the other is a biotech company. One's going to have significantly more cash than the other. And with this biotech, this company MLTX, they lost 55 million last quarter. They do have some interesting short interest here. 17 and a half of the float shorted with almost 6 days to cover. So we could see some short squeeze happening here. I think that's more likely with MLTX than we're seeing with UNH. UNH is actually more of a what would you call it? More of a fundamental recovery. I think it was pretty undervalued. We're having sold.
It was oversold. It was undervalued. It got obviously the Warren Buffett buy, which really kind of put in a floor right around 290. Yeah. So there's a lot that happened here on UNH.
Yeah. So no, they're nothing alike. I think they're moving on completely different reasons. They both in that encompass that health care sector, but this one's, like I said, a biotech. The other one's health insurance. All right. Now, ANRO, it did it. It did the thing. It went higher. It was just setting up. Man, fantastic morning, folks.
Yeah, you know what? The lesson that I have from this morning is that I should not have taken ANRO off my screen since the moment Tennis's Life brought this up this morning. This thing, he had mentioned this right as it was approaching the pre-market high. We got the clean break, clean pullback, another break higher, another pullback, and another break higher here.
Cypher.
This thing, you're absolutely right. This has been good action.
Yeah, Cypher, just kind of flagging this one right now, CIFR, because we are now approaching the session highs. And if we get a big expansion of volume right here, I think we could end up seeing higher prints. Needs to happen right here and right now.
Okay.
ATLX is moving with LAC. Did we even look at that one yet?
No, I don't think so. This EPSM, this is that wild one. This is moving again. You said ALTX, right? That was the one that Tuna's looking at? Okay.
Atlas Lithium. Okay. Well, it's got lithium in the name, so certainly.
So it's not ALTX then. Oh, ATLX. Excuse me. That's my fault. It's my fault. My fault.
Almost 13 million shares in the float, so nice small float there. I guess the big question is, what's their balance sheet look like?
Mike likes open right here. Mama Bear says it's interesting. Okay, here's open. So you guys are looking for a break higher here, aren't you?
Hey, Cad Monkey, have a great time on your bike, man. Great job on your Amazon trade. So yeah, lithium, Atlas Lithium. This doesn't appear to have really much in the way of revenue. I guess I would want to look into this some more as to what's going to end up happening with that, because I see a big insider sell, several insider sells. I don't have much of opinion on this one, right? And I don't know enough about it to really give you one. But it's nice to see that it's moving, maybe moving with Lithium Americas. I would imagine that other lithium names are moving as well. Let's take a look at maybe not all of them. But let me go back over here to Derek asking about PFE.
Really quickly, open new highs. So I just wanted to keep this on here because it sure looked like we were going to take them. That is down now. New highs open, OPEN.
When it comes to PFE, this has just been on the move ever since there was that White House deal that was announced for drug prices, and it's just done something that it hasn't done in, gosh, how long? Well, I'll say years, at least almost 3 years. We're testing we're interacting with the 500-day SMA again, and we've moved above it. Last time that we even had any contact with this moving average was back in January of 2023 when we lost the level. Hasn't touched it since. It's foreign to it now. So this is some really great price action that I'm seeing here with this one. I think the next thing that needs to happen here, if we're going to remain bullish and continue to the upside, got to hold this 500-day SMA. I think that's the big thing that needs to happen here. There is some pretty tough resistance just above it at around like $28. You can see from between April and November of last year, that was pretty much the big support area until we lost it. So $28 is now going to be a support turned resistance level. And I think that's the next level we need to clear out.
XELB. Charles here saying that it held support at 235. This is all about the VWAP. I've got VWAP at 247. You can see we had multiple peaks above the VWAP to see if we wanted to go that way. Volume did not cooperate. It's compressed down here. If it stays at this level, would love to see some of this volume expand and then move through 247 there on XELB. That would give us a trade higher here.
Sideshow. That's amazing. I love reading that. She just helped his sister with her first sell her first trade with a 66% win in RCAT.
Here, tell your sister she just got a register ring, and Chewbacca loves her trade.
Hit the like for Sideshow's sister that just started trading with us. And you know what? Tell her about the show. Hit like for Sideshow's sister.
Tell her to come on and hit the like.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. So Cigna, Humana, UNH still running. We've talked about this a lot in Happy Hour about the different sectors that have been beaten up this year and how they look like they're going to end up doing better going into next year. And a lot of them are on the consumer side. You have healthcare, you have consumer discretionary, consumer staples, and real estate, all among the most hammered sectors, if not the most hammered sectors year to date. So they typically don't end up down here for too long. And usually when they have a bad year, they end up doing better next year. So think in those sectors, some of the really beat up names in those sectors are going to do pretty well going into next year.
LAC just barely stopped before 9, just barely. It's pulling back here, but I think as long as it doesn't lose this 865, we're probably okay. You know what's interesting about the UNH? I know that you guys are talking about UNH in here. I have seen some CNC calls, but I haven't necessarily. Where's Pete? Pete's got to be doing real good here. CNC continues to trade higher. I haven't noticed a lot of UNH on here. Let me filter it and see if I maybe just missed it.
I watch for volume in RZLV. If we start to get some, we could break back above the VWAP and retest some of the session highs. It looks like it's trying to the momentum is trying to swing back towards the upside. And I do see a seller in the way at 725, but let's see what kind of volume we get from here, because this is looking like it might be trying to set up. So just look for that volume component.
I like it.
Look for that volume component. Yeah.
Pot saying DXYZ.
Oh, perfect.
That's the DXYZ. That's the SpaceX play that we talk about a lot here.
That is.
And this is actually curling. This actually held the close from yesterday and is bouncing a little bit. We opened around $30. Stock's at 29 right now.
Mike, you're saying that USA needs antimony, so UAMI was the play for that, and it's been parabolic. We started looking at this one back in September, I think, of last year when China announced that they were going to cut the U.S. off from antimony shipments. But I thought we had plenty of antimony to last us for a while. So are you saying now that supply has kind of been depleted a little bit, and some of these antimony stocks are going to really start to take off? Because, man, UAMI, this thing has been an absolute winner since last year. And OpenAI, okay. USA needs antimony and OpenAI. Well done on your trade. James, did you win on that trade? It looks like you did.
Yeah, if he had 125 calls and he closed them at 142, he printed.
Sorry, I was just reading the last word you wrote, and I was like, "Uh-oh, what happened?" So I guess I should read the normal way, So congratulations on that trade. Yeah, waiting for pullbacks does suck, especially when you want to trade a particular stock that you know really well, and it seems like you're all over it.
Especially when you have a bullish view and you're like, God, I know this bullish view. I really think the stock's going to go higher, but please pull back. That's the tough one.
The processing. Thank you. No. For OpenAI. So wait, what's going on with? I guess I'm confused about what you're saying, Mike. No. OpenAI part of DXYZ. Oh, okay.
So DXYZ, that can move on the whole SpaceX thing and the OpenAI thing. Is that what we're?
I guess that's what we're seeing here. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And by the way, SpaceX, their next Starship test flight is supposed to happen this month. I don't believe it's going to be next week like it originally looked like it was going to. I think the notice to mariners indicates that it's going to be the week of the 12th to the 18th. I can bring some more information on that next week. If that interests you guys. But I love these SpaceX launches, so I'm always trying to keep an eye out for when they launches. One day I'm going to actually go to one of these.
Potts from our Twitch community, by the way. We do stream, just FYI, folks, we do stream to 3 different platforms, Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. So sometimes you might not see some of the comments. I'll do my best to highlight some of them. CTKD Potts, Elon changed his pick to a rocket again, so we should be good.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, typically following a static test fire of the Starship, it's 2 weeks after that we start to see the launch window open up. So that already happened. Should be seeing some fireworks later on, and this is going to be the final Block 2 configuration for Starship before they move on to their new configuration, the Block 3, which is going to have a lot of improvements, and I'm excited for it.
Okay,
where's SPCE? Who knows, man? This thing is up today, but I just don't know about space tourism right now. I really don't. I don't think we're there. I don't think it's a business that's going to do a whole lot right now. Maybe there's a very, very niche environment for this to operate in with high profile clients, but unless they can get these things to maybe several thousand a ticket, I don't see the interest in the idea of space tourism. That's just me. Maybe it's just, I think maybe later on it'll be good, but right now, not the time. You'll be on one day, a Starship? That'd be cool. I wouldn't, it's too soon for the Spaceballs, exactly. I'm down to go to space. I'd love it, actually. I mean, it's not for everybody, Brian. No. There are people perfectly happy with keep staying on the ground and going no higher than an airplane.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would like to, but I don't know that I'm ready to do that yet, to be quite honest with you. Also, BTO, just kind of dipping my toe into ticker AS. AS is Aimer Sports, and they owned a brand of high-profile technical gear called Arc'teryx. I don't know if any of you are familiar with this. It's awesome. The clothing brand is absolutely awesome. And heard through the grapevine here that it appears that Arc'teryx, there's another brand that Amer Sports owns, hearing that this seems to be replacing Canada Goose as the trendy winter wear. So I'm looking for maybe like a several month swing trade here, just taking a little bit of a starter here on AS.
Hey, G-Man.
So I guess I'm holding this one too over the weekend to answer your earlier question.
G-Man, if you're looking for some wise words on ASTS, I'd encourage you to join us for happy hour, because we have a gentleman in there who's really bullish on ASTS, and even I was having a hard time trying to see it, but here we are up significantly today, and he seems to be more dialed in on ASTS than I am right now. So I don't have any wise words for you. It seems like we do have a gentleman who's got a lot of information on it, so I'd encourage you, if you could, join us in happy hour one day.
That's notable too, because 13, I don't think I know anybody that is plugged into the space theme as you. So for you to say that to me is a notable data point. Really quickly here, Market Sniper says, love it, wearing it now. You're wearing Arc'teryx now. That's amazing. Tennis is Life says the most comfortable sweaters and hoodies. I'm telling you, this brand is money. We'll see if the trade ends up panning out.
Space to feel great on your joints. I haven't really experienced weightlessness with, maybe longer than a few seconds. So I don't know what that's going to be like, but I'm certainly interested in it. QS looks good, getting over resistance from July. That thing is still running up. G-Man, it's going to require that you have a Benzinga Pro subscription, but we have these meetings Monday through Thursday for an hour after the bell closes, and it's great. QS being a lithium play, I don't know if that's really the case. I thought they were solid state.
Yes, I was going to say it's a battery play, but I'm not sure how much the lithium component is.
Right. That's
solid state lithium metal battery technology. There you go.
Okay. So that just goes to show how much I know about what QuantumScape's working on.
I'll just say generally, Kathy, whenever she says something, it's pretty researched. Okay. I can't recall a time where I've looked at something Kathy has said and been like, I don't know about that. Whether it's a stock call or something, a thesis ad there.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if QS over the course of could even be this month, but I'm not sure about the seasonality. But it seems like it's going to go to $20 before the year is over.
You weren't sure on the seasonality on what?
QS.
Let me check here real quick. I don't even know if we have enough data for that.
I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, spelled J-H-A-N. Is it John? He's mentioning Lightbridge, LTBR. Lots of selling volume on ANRO, worth watching on the pullback, says Christoph C. Some of these, it looks like you guys are mentioning a lot of these names coming back in. That's kind of expected, especially as it was mentioned in the chat not that long ago. We are past that 10:30 time where volume really does start to leave the market. So great to exercise some caution with some of these trades, and maybe just try not to get into something that's going on a run, because volume is going to dry up here until probably the early afternoon. Just keep that in mind. ANRO. I mean, this does look like it's kind of repeating the same thing it did earlier, where it has this volume candle. It takes it to new highs. So you get a few selling candles, and then you blast off again. We'll see if we end up getting that with ANRO here. We're going to need to see some way better volume than this. Otherwise, it's turning around.
By the way, per QS seasonality, not enough data.
Okay.
So we just don't have it yet. Tennis is Life, EPSM. We're not sure what happened to this. This has been another kind of a crazy runner that becomes a halt fest. We saw this here. What was that? Was it August or September? It was September 9th. We saw that this was a huge move up to 150. It actually looks like where it was trading, going to where it was trading sideways here. I would just extend some caution on this one, just because halt fest craziness doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, et cetera, et cetera.
Ticker SOAR is getting mentioned here because this is moving up right now, and it appears that this is a acquisition target. Is that what it's moving on? Volato Group's proposed acquisition under definitive agreement. M2I Global names Anthony Roger Moore to its board of advisors. So that seems to, I don't see any other news today. That's from Wednesday. I'm not sure what this is moving on. This is passenger airlines. Yeah, you're going to have to help me out with this one because I don't know what's causing this to move right now.
Hans says long IWM. Hans, are you looking for a breakout swing long here? IWM does look like it's breaking out. Here's what your daily looks like. Look at this.
Mm-hmm.
Hans, looking like you're taking a swing long here on some small caps.
And
Do you have a target or a time horizon on that trade, Hans? Just out of curiosity.
Tron. Really? There's a ticker named Tron? There is. I don't know why. Maybe I've seen this before and I just forgot about it. They had a double top back earlier this year, but they've since come down to their 500-day SMA and reversed right off the 500-day SMA. Recaptured the 200 and the 20. Next is going to be the 50 up at 493. It seems like there's a bit of a resistance area coming up to. They're coming up to it at 390. So beyond 390, that 50-day SMA is the only other resistance that I'd see that I'd be concerned about.
Almost 30% of the float shorted here on Tron, by the way.
Okay, then
2.23 days to cover.
Okay. This one is also okay. So it's a treasury name, Tron Treasury Token, or Token Treasury. 100. So they have over 200 million in treasury holdings, and the market cap's only 87 million.
Tron was SRM. That was the previous ticker, day trader. Justin Sun's crypto company. Thank you.
That's the one we were getting confused with NewScale.
I think so. Yeah. Appreciate it. Day trader always looking out for the crypto stuff. We appreciate that. Kathy here says, I'm long IWM as well. Looks like a good play with the interest rate cutting. Hans saying swing long over the weekend. Okay. Sick.
Okay. And look at this. Look at ANRO. Is it really going to do it again? If the volume expands here, it could take out 715. But look, it's got the same setup that it's doing all over again. Just taking that stairway to heaven.
Also, that RZLV, that actually made a pretty good move through the VWAP too. I know I took it off the screen here, but that ended up working. Someone was calling that.
That's it. And then, wow, what a nice opportunity Bull gave. That was getting mentioned earlier when it was running up to 15. Somebody mentioned it, and after that, then it had 15 minutes of just pure terror as the thing sold off and went down to some of these pre-market levels. But look, it's almost completely recovered. Fantastic. All right. ANRO.
That did slip a little bit there.
It doesn't look like it's got the volume. I was saying that's got to be the key component to going up beyond 715. It's not getting it.
Not yet, anyway.
Lithium Americas, however, this is getting some volume. It's pushing up towards 9. I think you may get 9 this time if we continue with this volume expansion. And BPRO, that's recovering. Cipher, CIFR, that just hit a new session high.
LAC basically bouncing off of its 9 EMA right back to the highs at 9 there.
Mm-hmm. Rum did the exact same thing as Bull. Let me see here.
Kathy saying, Bull, Schwab borrowed my shares. Short interest must be increasing. Do you get paid for them borrowing your shares?
Should.
Do you earn anything on that just for sitting there? That's a good mention though, Kath. Man.
Okay, it's Bull that I need to see. So you're talking about doing the same thing as Bull, where they ran up, sold off, back down to pretty much where it opened and then rallied again. Let me see here. Kind of. It did kind of do that, didn't it? I think that the moves with Bull are just a little bit more outsized than with Rum. But yeah, I see that. It did kind of do that, didn't it? All right. Now let's see what else we have here. Gosh, AMTX. This thing looks like it's going to roll over.
It actually looks
LAC,
like ANRO might go too, or roll over, excuse me.
congratulations, Lithium Americas holders. You are knocking on the door of $9. $8.99 is your high right now. Still a stiff amount of resistance there, but I think as this volume continues to expand, you're going to end up chewing through that 9. Let's see if we end up getting it here. Either way, I'd say great job.
Okay, we'll do the sound effects there for that.
Just look at the move. We've got like
Yeah.
a $2 move today from the open.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want that?
Yeah, I don't know. This is, and it's basically just been straight up pullback, got bought.
And SMX might be recovering next. Let's see if we get some more expanding volume in this one. It just moved over the VWAP. Big seller in the way at 180, but again, the volume component, if we get that, this could have some nice moves.
Daniel's wondering if EPSM is going to 50. I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I would say, just looking at the chart, yes? Question mark?
EPSM.
But I mean, yeah, I'm not in this, just to be clear. It's easy for me to answer questions like that when I've got no money on the line on it.
What was that one that was it was halting early this morning?
Really quickly here, Selena, the ticker that you're asking for, the company that is the parent company of Arc'teryx, is ticker AS, Amer Sports, Alpha Sierra. What was that, 13? Sorry?
What was the ticker that was halting and gapping this morning? It was a name that we weren't really looking at, but it was brought to our attention.
NNNN, quadruple N, I believe. That was tennis was on this one, and look what it did. Came all the way back in.
Yeah.
Supri's asking if LAC can reach 10. I believe Tuna called 10 earlier as a possibility there.
All right, and I just noticed that I think Cypher. Yep, Cypher. It is printing more highs now. Cypher Mining.
This was another good mention early. I think Kathy was on this one earlier too.
Yep, and it's blue skies here for this one right now. CIFR. We have cleared the 2021 highs.
Potts saying, is clove cooked? Here's the thing. Every time I talk about clove, somehow the clove long-term holders akin to the apes from GME come into the stream and just relentlessly bash me. Is it cooked? I don't know. I've never really bought the bull thesis on this one, to be quite honest with you. It does look like it's coming into a support level here. We don't have our generated bull bear thesis on this. I don't hold this one. I don't really trade this one unless it's a day trade setup. I don't really know the long-term thesis here, so it's tough for me to tell you or give you any type of good opinion on whether or not it's cooked. It does look like it's kind of testing a support area in here. I would even extend this all the way down to 245. It's like your low down here at 217. I don't know. Doesn't look great. CEO bought it too. That's probably a pretty good floor.
Yeah, where'd he buy that at? Also, the 500-day SMA has been pretty good about providing support in the past. We did get a reversal off of that in August. We are coming back down towards that same moving average again, but it's the pattern that's starting to emerge here could be interesting. Let me look at a weekly chart to see if it's a little bit more obvious.
And while you're doing that, Kenny Rogers, how long have you gentlemen been trading, and how were you trained? 10K hours. So I've been trading since 2014 actively. I've been looking at stock tickers since I saw the movie Wall Street back in high school. So that's 20 plus years, but I've been only trading since 2014. As far as training goes, I have no formal training. I used YouTube and the University of Hard Knocks. I learned myself what worked and didn't work. And I would talk to anybody that I could that had more experience than I did about market dynamics and trading and all of that. I'm self-taught.
I've been, let's see, we're in 25 now. So I've been investing on my own for 7 years, and I've been day trading for 5. No formal training either.
Look at LAC. Oh my God. I think your 10 is in play. Yeah. Sorry for interrupting.
No worries. Let's it's not important. I'm I did get a little bit of training, but nothing formal. LAC. Let's take a look at that. I think that's a little bit
It's just pushing right now.
More interesting.
From Hard Knocks to Fort Knox. Dude,
oh man,
that is an epic t-shirt. Oh my good Lord,
wow.
Joe.
Today on Lines That Go Hard.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, that is so good.
Lithium Americas. I think once it hits 10, I think I thank my stars I got that, because this is really extended here, and I think there's going to be some coming in at some point. Not that this couldn't end up going higher, but just in the short term, it's been pretty extended. Just my little view on the risk here. RUM continuing higher in this regular session. Still looking for the some after hours levels. 890 is the next level I'm watching here for this. If we manage to get above that, could see 940.
Kenneth here mentioning that the Tesla puts continue to print, and indeed they do. What's wild about this is that I'm actually seeing calls get bought into this down move on Tesla, but you're absolutely right. It's been the puts have paid all day. Soon as this thing took out the pre-market lows, it was on for those puts.
20-day SMA. That's where I think the support will emerge. If not 420.
Funding secured.
Now that I've said that, we should see wisdom show up.
C Boogie's asking me, hey Ryan, what is a good setup for spot or GV? Any call buying? I don't have an idea yet on a setup. I haven't really looked at it. Don't see a whole lot of call buying here. Looks like some of the 730s that expire next week were bought. I wouldn't put too much stock into that. The other one you were asking about was GEV. We'll take a look at that real quick. It's GE Verona. I don't see. Oh, there's some call buying here. Ooh. Wait a sec, though. Wait a tick here. GEV. It looks like you had the 620 calls that expire in January. The trader paid 1.1 million. So this is an out of the money upside call buy with an expiry in January of next year. Trader bet 1.1 million on that trade. That is an unusual options trade, C Boogie. Now, as far as the chart, I'm going to let you figure that out.
You see it?
Trying to trade out of this sideways formation, 620.
Do you see it?
The trend line?
Yep. Uh-huh.
Okay.
All right. For this one, I'd say let's see what we get once we've recaptured 50-day SMA. I'm going to make predictions while we're beneath it.
Did anyone else have that? Just me. Yeah, I am not, given that we've seen the internet do enough recently.
It's lost. Do you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you, but you're a little bit robotic-like.
Okay, I don't know. I'm getting some indications from.
No, you sound better now. Oh, there he goes. Well, I was gonna. No, he's here. He's
what? Oh.
No, you're there. You're good.
Oh, that must have been Restream. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. You sound all right now. Sounds like it's gone.
All right. So LAC hitting weekly 200 SMA. Let's see here what we got. Go to weekly charts. I don't see a 200-week SMA. I don't even think this thing's been around long enough. This thing's been around since October of 2023. So that would only be, that's 104, right? 104 weeks.
Plug, a move to the highs here. Currently happening on Plug. I'm actually going to refresh my platform. This looks like it's lagging a little bit.
All right. Quantum names on fire. Yeah.
They have been.
Kind of concerned that they're all kind of moving wildly, but let's just let's trade what we can. Looks like we're getting that next move up in PLTZ. We'll see if that has any staying power. Rum still okay. So it went right to that 890 level. I think. Okay, I'm sorry, a penny short, 889. But this is the next resistance area. So if we can manage to get through this, the next level is going to be 940. But we are getting a little bit of a pull here. First red candle that's shown up in a while, 40 minutes.
More SanDisk calls. This actually looks like this is going to try and break higher. When is the short appropriate on SanDisk? Look at this chart. This thing was, at the end of August, the stock was in a 40 handle. It's $136.
Data is important, and so is storing it.
That's true. Yeah, Izzy saying Rocket's 3 days down. That's kind of been disappointing. Remember, though, as far as the trade goes, I know we have this break of the trend line. As far as the trade goes here, I'm on the trailer of this. There's already gains booked. These were the March 15 calls for next year, bought when the stock was $12. So when we were trading above 20 there, we were shedding this and booking gains on this. The rest of this, I've got, and I literally have a total of 2 contracts left from the initial buy. These are the runners. So I'm going to kind of wait this out. I do want to see what happens to the next rate decision, what happens around there. We'll see. There's no way to lose on this trade, Izzy. I've got enough booked here where even if these went to 0, which I won't let them do, I can't lose.
DFLI is getting mentioned here. This is coming back up to the regular session high of 166. Don't know what's causing this sudden spike in volume, but we are getting it. We just moved through the VWAP about 10, 15 minutes ago.
I'll tell you, shares of Dragonfly Energy are trading higher, continuing to rise after the company recently announced it has been selected by Nevada Tech Hub for the first round of funding. So that was news from yesterday morning, but it looks like it is continuing on that here today.
Well, it looks like if we do get this visit up towards 165 again, or the pre-market high level, if the volume holds up, we could see a move through it. So otherwise, it's going to if we get resistance there again, then I kind of view that as either a double top intercession or a triple top from the after hours going into this regular session, and we could turn bearish. So just a couple of things to watch for, but I would like to see the volume expand as we move through 164, 165 to go higher. Where do I see support for Tesla? It looked like 420 was a pretty good support area. There was also another one that I had mentioned. Let me go back to that. It's the weekly chart. The 20-day SMA I like as another support level.
I'm sorry, which ticker were you looking at?
This is Tesla.
Okay.
And that's going to be about the same area. It's like $5 less than 420. So that general area right there, I'd be looking as the next area of support. So that's about all I got with Tesla. If we lose this support, then we could continue an even steeper fall.
Okay. Izzy, you're asking about the stock itself. Yeah. What are we looking at for a support level? I mean, honestly, 18 is one of those levels. I'd like to see it reclaim that. Otherwise, I'm thinking maybe 17, right? That's what we had. Let me go back to my other chart because I should still have these levels marked off. Let me just do that real quick. I know we're running out of time here, but I'm going to get your question answered, Izzy.
And isn't the fact that mortgage rates are kind of rising hurting this and other mortgage companies as well?
Yeah, I would imagine. So here you go, Izzy. 18, 16, 13. These are the key levels that we have for this. I still think these are good. I suspect that with this pullback here, this is actually approaching oversold territory. I would not be a seller here. But if this can firm up at all, maybe there's a trade here. Again, I obviously still have some of this on, so I still have exposure.
Yeah, it did get some support from 18 yesterday. We'll have to see what it ends up doing today, but $18 was the original IPO price. So pretty important level. If we do lose this, there's a trend line just beneath it. And then we have 16, I would say 1675 and then 16 even.
I just extended that trend line out to the $18 level, so we'll see where it finds some support.
Well, Oh, and Big Dave wanted to look at QUBT.
That's been on the scanner here today with a lot of the other quantum names.
That actually, I look at the daily chart on this one. So this one is moving its way up to the 27, I want to say 27.15 high from December of last year. Just looks really, really good for a break over that level if we can manage to get up there over the next, probably by next week. It is getting into a little bit of a overbought territory, but I still think there's more room for this to go higher. It looks like this could go to 27.50, and still not be too overbought. 70, it's slightly above 70 RSI. We just saw this thing back at last month get up to like almost 80 RSI. 79.06 was the high. So I certainly think that this could run a little bit more. Just don't know where it's going to end up running to, but I'd be keeping an eye on 27.15 to 27.50.
Real quick here, Tara saying a set of books called The Game Trilogy. It's about information that is stored. Super good set of books by Andre Delamotte. He was a police officer and a security manager. Highly recommended. Tara, book recommendations will put you in an upper echelon level of people in my book. Is it fiction? Is it real? And then my follow-up question is, have you read the Three Body Problem series at all? Or has anyone that likes to read the Three Body Problem series? I've read the Three Body Problem, and it's one of my favorite fiction novels of all time. It's that good, and I'm going to start the Dark Forest here pretty soon. So just wondering.
Regarding planetary gravitational, that's what the three body problem is, right?
Yeah, the three body problem is a traditional physics problem that has three bodies in space and how you can predict future movements from them. There's a lot of really complex math that's in there too. Really, really good stuff. But the fictional series is amazing. 13, we're out of time here. You got any closing words for the group?
Well, folks, some of these names that we were just looking at are still continuing to make new highs. Just don't get too complacent with these upsides as we approach the final hours of the week. Make sure you're paying yourself. Make sure you're keeping your account funded and not losing anything, because we want to come back here next week. We want to do this all over again. So hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. Stay green. I'll see you all tomorrow on Monday. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, 13, for everything. Take us home on this roads, folks. All right. We're going to turn you over to Paulo now. Let's bring him on. Paulo, how you doing? Happy Friday, boss.
Hello, Ryan. How are you? Happy Friday as well. How is it going?
It's going great, man. We hear you good. What do you got coming up for us?
All right. First, we're going to do a follow-up on Micron technology. We saw 2 weeks ago on a potential wave 3, and it's just too bullish here. And we're also going to check some bullish and some bearish setups into the upcoming weeks.
Okay, amazing. I will go ahead. I'm going to play that intro. Trading Made Simple with Paulo starts right now.
Welcome back, traders. This is Sandra with Trading Made Simple. I'm here to show you short-term proven strategies. People think trading is a one-size-fits-all market. It's not. We live trade and train daily. Let's talk trading.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. How is it going? I hope we are all having a nice trading session, a nice week. And let's start with our segment, and let's see some potential bullish and bearish plays for the upcoming weeks. As always, I do have some setups I would like to share. And if you would like to request any stock, any ticker, any ETF, just type the ticker in the chat room. I got it right here. So we can do some requests on charts and some technical analysis as well. All right, so we're going to do a follow-up on the stocks we were discussing 2 weeks ago, and they have had very interesting developments. So we're going to try to cover as many as possible. First, we're starting with Micron Technology. So Micron Technology was one of the setups we were actually reviewing 2 weeks ago, and we were looking at this wave 3, and well, it's an absolute wave 3. This is very, very bullish for Micron Technology. Let's check it out. First, some context. All right. So after the COVID, we had a 5-point Elliott wave structure into actually here. This was a distribution a stage 3 actually. So there was no trend in between here, just a distribution into a 5-point correction, again into a 5 Elliott wave count, into a 5-point correction. And now it seems, I would say it's pretty confirmed, we are already on a new Elliott wave count, and this would be wave 3. As always, our Elliott wave counts start on the weekly RSI on the overbought. We can see the first count, the second count starting on the bullish divergence, actually. This was a bottom by a bullish divergence, not a bottom by a crash like what we saw on the COVID crash and also on the Liberation Day tariffs. And that brings us to our new structure. So we had wave 1, right? When we reach actually the top of the Bollinger Band on the weekly, we consolidated a bit and we went for the 0.2. No, I think this is the 0.3 Fibonacci retracement. Yes, wave 2 actually bottom right at the 0.382 Fibonacci retracement. And then actually also in trends, the RSI for these waves, wave 2 and wave 4 corrections usually kind of bounces at the mid here on the weekly RSI. That was accurately here on this count, wave 1, wave 2. And of course, this seems to be wave 3. We're already into brand new all-time highs. We're actually breaking out from this ascending structure. And if we would like to do a potential projection on price target for Micron, usually, this is not always the case, but usually wave 3 kind of reaches the 1.6 Fibonacci extension, not retracement, sometimes also the 1, or maybe sometimes the 2.6, but I do think maybe we could see a potential wave 3 top maybe at the 1.6 Fibonacci retracement. So while we remain above 180, which would be this breakout here from the resistance trend line on the weekly chart, I do think Micron Technology will continue this momentum. We are already on overbought levels, but kind of looks like we could continue a bit higher. I would be looking at 213 as a potential price target for wave 3 for Micron Technology. Then I would be looking some consolidation, maybe a wave 4, and I would be looking for continuation of this momentum. So Micron Technology, from the last time we saw it, it actually continued that momentum we were signaled in a wave 3. It is looking very bullish. All right, you might be thinking, oh my God, I missed this move for Micron. I did it too. I actually didn't bought it here. But I wouldn't be chasing Micron Technology here because now I will be showing you what I believe is going to be developing as the next Micron Technology. And we got Marvel. Remember I mentioned Marvel was actually my first or second favorite setup, if not NTLA, which we are also going to check it out. So for Marvel, we got absolutely the same chart as Micron and all these AI hardware supply stocks, which don't make actually the GPUs, such as NVIDIA, AMD, and also Intel, but they provide a supply chain to make the GPU production possible. In this case, for Marvel, we have the first Elliott wave count into a 5-point correction, again into a 5-point Elliott wave count into a 5-point correction. But what I like from Marvel, all right, different actually than Micron, that doesn't mean it's going to have to develop the same, is the volume. Micron did have important volume here, but the volume for Marvel is just too strong. And where is this volume actually coming at? Support. So when we're looking at volume on the weekly or the monthly time frame, I don't like to pay attention to the color because that only shows if the candlestick opened closed the week, right? If the weekly candlestick closed the week above or below where we open. So we could have a massive volume on a candlestick, kind of on a green doji at an all-time high, and that would be a weekly green candlestick, but in reality, it could be bearish because that massive record volume could be coming in at all-time high. So what I like to do with volume, I like to see where is this volume coming? Is it coming at a very big weekly or monthly support? Probably it is institutional money buying. Is it coming at a monthly or weekly all-time high, right? A 52-week all-time high? That would probably be institutional money selling, and we're going to check this trick as well. So for Marvel, actually, I'm sorry, we can see here this record volume as well. on the beginning of this move, this was basically at that support structure, and that signaled the start of this Elliott wave count. And now we are retesting that same 6-year structure here, and we're seeing this big volume coming in. We had the first wave higher, then we retraced from the 0.5, I think, by 1 second. This would be, I think, the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement, or 6. It's the 0.6. Imagine that. It's the golden Fibonacci retracement zone. I think I'm even more bullish now on Marvel. I thought that was the 0.3, but no, it's the 0.6 Fibonacci retracement. So we're bouncing from the 0.6, and we're currently confirming. All right, we are currently confirming this is a wave 3 for Marvel. What is the confirmation? Confirmation is we're breaking above wave 1 highs. This is potentially a wave 3 starting. We are also seeing the RSI indicator breaking above here. It's much higher, and price action is basically there. What's that indicating? That the RSI would be indicating Marvel is ready to hit those overbought levels on the RSI. Of course, that would bring a very strong move for Marvel Technologies. Still, we are a bit high here on the Bollinger Bands on the weekly. So I would not be surprised to maybe for 1 or 2 weeks see some consolidation here for Marvel, kind of like a bull flag. We let those Bollinger Bands expand a bit higher, and then boom, we have the next move. My point here is on Marvel right now, where we are, let me go back to Micron. We're here on Marvel. We're breaking above wave 1. I'm very bullish on Marvel. I think it might be my first or my number 1 or my number 2 bullish setups here. I actually did a long-term investment on Marvel somewhere around here. And my price target, my personal price target, I do think we're reaching similar to Micron. I do think we're reaching this range. And as crazy as that might sound, I think we're breaking out here. Marvel, I just couldn't be more bullish on it. Another stock, we're seeing the same setups here on all AI hardware stocks, ASML. So ASML, I also look the volume here. This record volume, let me check. Yes, well, not a historical record volume, but very big volume coming on this correction, on this 5-year structure. On ASML, we actually confirm an inverse head and shoulders reversal. I actually already deleted. So the 5-point correction had a left shoulder, neckline, head, second neckline, right shoulder. We broke above it with a breakaway gap, and that was indicating that momentum. We actually discussed this one here, and what we actually had is a runaway gap as well. Let me delete it here. We can see how we had this gap here on the weekly. We're kind of close with the wick here on the candlestick, but not with the body. I still think this would be a runaway gap. Breakaway gaps like this ones are gaps that happen on breakouts or breakdowns, right? They kind of indicate a reversal pattern. Then we have the runaway gaps, which usually happen at the middle of the trend. So this runaway gap here for ASML would be indicating we're still going to have momentum to reach previous all-time highs at 1,112.10. I do think we're reaching, similar to Micron, it's the same chart. I do think we're reaching that overextended resistance, and we're breaking higher. I'm also very bullish here on ASML. Now, the trick here with ASML is that we are a bit overextended on the Bollinger Bands, and runaway gaps don't necessarily mention we're just going on a straight line forever. Runaway gaps actually remain bullish while we don't close them. So I wouldn't be surprised to see here a flag pattern for ASML. We let the Bollinger Bands expand a bit higher, and then we continue that momentum. So ASML would be a buy the dip setup. Who's breaking out? QCOM. QCOM, we're breaking out with an inverse head and shoulders. I would say QCOM would be a very strong bullish play for next week for maybe swing trade calls. We got an inverse head and shoulders. We're breaking above the neckline. I think we're already confirming that move. RSI indicator, it's actually breaking higher. That would be indicating price might follow through. We had our first wave 1, wave 2 bouncing from the 0.3 Fibonacci retracement. And I do think we are already breaking actually above the neckline. My personal price target for QCOM would be 182 or maybe a bit higher. Let me see if we have some requests. Yes, we have Palantir, Costco. All right, we got a lot of requests. So let me show just one more chart. Then we're going with the request. And then maybe I can, if we have more time, I can also share a couple of the bearish charts I have. I'm very bullish also on the genomics sector. I think we're seeing a very strong bottom here, a very good buying opportunity for CRISPR and NTLA. My favorite stocks right now, Marvel and NTLA, based on technicals. For NTLA, first let me go into the monthly time frame, and we also discussed this one, and I think we were kind of like at 13. We're now at 20. So when we go into the monthly time frame, we can see this massive breakout with record volume on the monthly time frame. These are monthly candlesticks. We're also contracting on the monthly Bollinger Band, so a break above that level would actually signal a very strong bullish reversal for the stock. We broke above that pattern with all this volume. It's so bullish that it's actually scary. When we go into the weekly time frame as well, we're breaking out from this descending wedge. This is a descending wedge pattern from May 22. It's 3 years of a descending wedge pattern. No one was left alive in this stock. Remember what we mentioned on that record volume, right? It's not the color in the candlestick, it's where it happens. Check this candlestick. Record volume by then for NTLA. It was a green candlestick, right? So if we would be looking at the color, we would have understood this is very bullish. Check this volume on this candlestick, but no, because where did it happen? This was actually an exhaustion gap here. Even though we managed to survive on this candlestick, since it came at basically historical all-time highs, this was institutional money selling, and we can know that because what happened later. So now we're seeing that volume here coming in at all-time lows after what we saw with this volume at all-time highs. So of course we cannot know that right now, right? We cannot know actually if volume would be a buy or a sell. We can know it later with what price action did. I will show you a chart that I do think it's the best example on how to do this trick on the institutional, on the volume on the monthly time frame or weekly as well. My point is my price target for NTLA is the 200 weekly moving average at 35. I do think this is a wave 1. I wouldn't be surprised to maybe see a 1, 2, maybe 3, 4, 5. I'm not sure a wave 3 and 4, because for that we would need to know where wave 2 bottoms, so we can do some Fibonacci projections. But I do think NTLA, it's a great investment here. I also have a position for NTLA and CRISPR. CRISPR actually looks like we got the important volume on the breakout. It does look like we could continue a bit higher. And let me show you the example with Carvana on the monthly time frame as well, so we can have a picture of how this could look. All right, Carvana. This is the best example on that trick with the monthly volume. Stock went from $30 to $370. Imagine that, back to $9. When we were here, this chart, I mean, there's absolutely no bull left alive for Carvana, and then came the monthly volume, right? Check. Only institutional money can actually trigger and generate this kind of volume. So do we think institutional money was actually panic selling Carvana stock here? No. Now we know they were actually panic buying because what price action did later. So this is basically my favorite trick for long-term investment based on technicals, right? Then we have to check the fundamentals, see how's revenue, how's growth, how's free cash flow, all of that, right? But on the technicals, what I like to do is I like to spot this monthly volume. You go into the monthly time frame, you try to see where are this, this insane volume coming in. Is it coming in at all-time highs? Is it coming in at all-time lows? That probably is signaling a reversal, and that signal for Carvana. Now I'll give it 2 seconds so that we can remember how this looks, okay? Price action dead. Dead candlesticks against aggressive volume accumulation. When we have aggressive candlesticks against dead volume, that's distribution, and that actually played correctly. So this is an accumulation. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, week of cycle completed. Stage 1, stage 2. For Carvana, kind of looks like we're still on stage 3. I think we could continue running. But my point is, remember that big volume on dead candlesticks? That's what we got for NTLA. If not with Marvel, my second favorite stock. So now let's actually go into some of the requests we have, and let's try to cover as many as possible. Let's start here. I'll start with the ones I already have charted, and then we're going to check the ones I don't. So Palantir, I already have it charted, but I wouldn't be that sure. Let me check what is the latest update I have on Palantir. All right. All right, Palantir, I have two options here. Okay, we kind of have to go, this was such a strong move that to understand the first cycle, we kind of have to go into the logarithmic, where it kind of seems that from the bottom on the bear market for Palantir, we had a wave 1, wave 2, 3, 4, 5. But now let me go back into the regular chart. 1 second. All right. Oh, Jesus, what happened here? Okay, there we have it. So there could be the possibility, all right, there could be the possibility this is a wave 5 for Palantir, and this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The argument for that would be that this count that I'm also looking at as a potential wave 1, we didn't actually reach the oversold on the weekly RSI. So I'm not sure if this would be a completed cycle, which could be possible because we actually gave back 50% of the rally. This is the 0.5 Fibonacci. It's also a ABC correction, but I don't like that the RSI didn't reach oversold levels, all right? And also, we still kind of got a bearish divergence here. Check massive higher high in price action, but we still have a bearish divergence on the RSI. So there could be the possibility this is not a wave 1, this is actually a wave 5 for Palantir. If that would be the case, Palantir could be close for a potential correction. Maybe we could retest 120 again. Now, if this is actually a one cycle, many stocks were doing a correction here and starting a cycle after Liberation Day. So there could also be the possibility this is a wave 1 for Palantir. This could be a wave 2. Let me see how much we retrace. And this one is hard. We already retraced the 0.3 Fibonacci, so we could also be starting a wave 3. I would say confirmation for Palantir would be 190. Breaking above 190 would be very bullish. And if you want further confirmation, draw this RSI trend line on your weekly chart, okay? If Palantir RSI on the weekly starts breaking above here, we're going to continue rallying. That's going to signal a bullish breakout on the weekly RSI, which would be an early indication that price action will follow through. Palantir would be continuing higher. Now, also draw the support trend line. If we start breaking below the support trend line on Palantir RSI, I do think price action might actually follow through. So for Palantir, confirmation at 190. All right, let me see the other one, Costco. I do think I might have that one already charted. That would be right here. Let me see what is my latest chart for this one. All right, seems we are on an Elliott wave correction. Yes, we started the bull market, the 2023 bull market here. Yep, from oversold. Wave 3 has the bearish divergence against wave 5. So this was a cycle. My chart remains valid. We always have to update our charts. It's completely normal to have a chart and then you look at it some weeks later, you spot another thing. Price action develops, right? It evolves with the market. So as a technical analyst, it's always important to update our charts. We cannot, be stubborn, draw a chart and expect that to always remain valid. We always have to check it. Now, this does look like a B. I would say we're still under a correction. We are already bouncing from the 0.2. That is true. Yep, we're at the 0.2. So for Costco, I think this could be an ABC correction. I wouldn't be surprised to maybe retest 820. Maybe catch it a bit closer here to the 200 weekly moving average. I'm not sure we could go all the way there. But it does look like Costco is already correcting. Also on the bearish divergence. So Costco, I think it would be a buy if we were able to catch it on the oversold here for the weekly time frame. Somewhere around the 0.3 Fibonacci retracement. Let's see LAZR. And then I think we can also check Reddit. And I see Buru and Spotify. All right, let's see if we can catch those. So we're going here now with Luminar Technologies. Okay, my God. I mean, this is the chart we're discussing. The volume. This is a nice catch. I didn't know this stock, this company. But oh my God, this is the volume. I mean, this is it. What's going on here? All right. Jesus. This is the volume. Whoa. Amazing. Check the RSI here. All right, I need to bring some fundamentals quick here. What's going on with the company? How is revenue going? Wait a minute. Well, revenue was increasing, but we have some growth problems. Price to sales, no. Well, fundamentals are not that strong yet, all right? We still don't have a profitable operating margin. We also don't got a positive free cash flow. That is true. But then we have the volume on the technicals. You know what I would be doing here? I would be checking insider buying activity on Yahoo Finance as well. This volume is looking very, very strong for Luminar Technologies. It's looking very strong, but I don't know much about the company. So technically, this would be passing my filter, right? Like I would do a research on this stock. If you are bullish on this stock, if you like it, it would be a buy here. This record volume, I don't think institutional money is panic selling it here. Thank you for sharing this one with us. I'll absolutely do some research on this one. On our next segment on Fridays, we're going to check this one out. This volume is absolutely what we were discussing. All right, let's see. We got Reddit. I think we can do one more. Reddit. Ooh, nice. I had a count here and looks like it was validated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, we actually went a bit higher than my price target and correction. So now we are actually going through a correction on Reddit. All right. Where would that potential correction be from all this cycle? Usually the textbook target is the 0.3. Sometimes 0.5 or 0.6. So kind of looks like we could be already discussing a potential bottom for this stock. What happened there? A potential bottom for this stock. we could already be discussing that possibility. We have already retraced to the 0.382 from all this move. But what I see is we got a support trend line here as well. I would be looking here for Reddit maybe at 190, but let's let it develop. I would let it develop a bit. Keeping in mind, this looks like a completed cycle. I would like the RSI indicator to cool off at least below 50. Right now, it's a bit too on the top of the range, and I think we can do one more. Yes, so we're going to check Spotify. I already have that one charted. Apologize if I steal a minute or two. Let me go here with Spotify. Where is this one? Here. All right, what was my, okay. It's looking bearish. Oh my God. Okay, my initial chart would be a potential Elliott wave completed here. See that record volume we were mentioning? See how Spotify got bought here? All right. Yes, on the RSI, this would be wave 1. We start at the oversold. We go to the top. Then this would be wave 2. Yep, wave 3. Looks like it's correct. Because a trick I like to identify if it's a wave 3 or a wave 5 high is the bearish divergence. Usually on Elliott wave structures, wave 3 has the highest point on the RSI indicator, and wave 5 does a bearish divergence. All right. There could also be the possibility maybe we bounce a bit, but I do think this is wave 5. I would be pretty sure this is wave 5 for Spotify. The question is, did it already end it or not? This could be a 1-2 ABC correction if that is the case. All right. If we already topped here on Spotify, and this would be the last, I would be looking at the 0. Yep, we bounced from the 0.2. If Spotify would be about to correct, I do think we could maybe, that would be quite a drop to 500. I also think I could add a support trend line as well, kind of here. Well, here it does get invalidated. I would be looking at this zone, the bottom on the weekly Bollinger Band, maybe a retest here. I would say Spotify looks more bearish than bullish. We could maybe bounce here. I would remain bearish, actually. I would remain bearish below this level. Because if we remain below this level, this is looking like an A, B, potential C correction. All right. So I would say Spotify remains bearish below 748. If we break above 748, I would be looking at continuation of this run, but I would be looking at a potential top soon for the stock. I wouldn't be chasing it here. I think there's better buying opportunities like Marvel stock about to break out. So on 2 Fridays from here, remember, we're going to check Marvel and let's see where it goes. My projection for Marvel, it's going to do a micron. Yes, I do think Marvel is going to do a micron. We can also call it an ASML. I do think in 2 weeks from here, we're going to call it a Marvel. It's the same chart, just one by one, you know. These AI hardware stocks are doing the same chart one by one. And after Marvel, we're probably going to call it a QCOM as well, that has an inverse head and shoulders. We got not much volume on QCOM, but I do think it's going to be able to rally and benefit from this rally we're seeing in all the semiconductor sector. So that will be all for today. I would like to thank you, everyone, for your participation, your attendance. As always, I would like to thank the team on Benzinga, Ryan, and everyone for inviting us here on Fridays to share some trading insights. If you would like to learn more about what we do, you can check out our website at tradingmadesimple.org. We have automation trades. We have live trading sessions. We have a lot of features, AI-powered tools. If you would like to learn more about it, you can check out our website, www.tradingmadesimple.org, and you can learn more about us. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Benzinga. I hope we all have a great weekend and see you 2 Fridays from here. And we're going to check Marvel. This is my favorite setup right now, strongest wave 3 I have seen in the markets. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend.